actions that took place in Githurai are not Kenyan actions, where you come and kill people, take their bodies, go cut them in pieces and throw them in a dustbin. I know you're going to ask me, show me the evidence. Of course. It's a game. Let's play the game. But for me, it's no game. Blood is coming out of my hands. Blood been coming out of my hands for a long time. And guess what? If it means shutting down JKIA on Tuesday, occupy JKIA. Diaspora people, where we at? If you are in the diaspora and you are very sitting, very comfortable in your air conditioned, you need to send some money to the people, to the Gen Z in Kenya, and especially the hosts of these spaces. I looked at what Ruto was saying at Bomet. First of all, there was no energy. People were so lazy to raise hands. There was no energy. And then Ruto, you don't even know English. And one thing that you did from Bomet, you misspoke. What did you say? You say the country is bigger than any one group of people. That's stupid. Nigga, go back to school. KK is a group of people. This is what you should have said. The government of Kenya is bigger than one person. And what we are telling you is the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya are bigger than Ruto. Shit is not working. We come into foreign countries, we getting stabbed. I got stabbed in Los Angeles, Hollywood, doing comedy. Trying to sell some t-shirts and glasses. The guy who stabbed me is 21 years in jail. Go check it out on the internet. Go type John and Delito criminal. You see it.
Jojo Land. Your time is up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let me summarize, finish this. You are boasting because of money. We're going to make this money useless. This word Muheshimiwa need to be called Muizi. We've been giving you, we've been letting you get away with it. But you use the same hand to eat, the same hand to cheat, and the same hand to greet us. We're not going to be shaking that hand anymore. Those hands are dirty. Duale Haji, watch the fuck out. Leave my people alone and take your ass back to Somalia, niggas. And you know what? So America and the West is coming for your buttocks, for your behind with this LGBT bullshit. I'm done. Occupy JKIA. Let's go. Let's go, Kenyans. We ain't going back. Fuck Museveni. Fuck Ethiopia. Fuck Ugandans because you can't fight. Kenya, we taking Africa and we...
Hey, where bwana? Time imeisha bana. Hala. Hey bwana, calm down. Kunywa maji. Hey bana. Let's go to Talibeb. After Talibeb.
Correction over there. We have to correct these people. Okay, we have Kenyan Somalis. Please do not divide us into tribal and ethnic groupings. Don't bring that language here on this space. Go ahead.
Guys, we're not here to spread hate. We're not here to spread hate. Who's speaking? Just chill. Who's speaking? Chill, guys. I have Talibeb, then I have Momo, then June. Let's just go in that order. I'll pick 3-3. Talibeb, Momo, then June. June Sigay. Then we move on to the next speakers. And please, just let's keep the discussion. We're trying to tell this discussion towards a certain direction. Do not deviate. Utafanya gari yote ianguke. We are talking about Tuesday. Everything that has happened, sawa, ili happen. But we're talking about Tuesday. Sawa, tailor your conversation towards Tuesday next week. Thank you, very important. Talibeb, the mic is yours. 3 minutes.
Habari zenu wa Kenya wenzangu. I hope you can hear.
Talibeb, are you there?
Hi Kenyans. I hope mnanisikia vizuri. Mko salama. I'd first like to begin by taking a moment of silence for all our fallen soldiers who were killed by Ruto. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. First of all, guys, to begin with, there's a lady who said something very, very important a while ago. And I'm not sure if you grasped it, but I'm sincerely hoping that it's stuck in our heads. When we were rejecting finance bill, I was bantering actually with someone because it was such a heated moment, and I get emotional when I have to talk about Kenya. Right now I'm in the UK, but I'm coming back home in a few. But before I come back home, I talk to people at home and we're all depressed. And when we were talking, I told him, this thing is bigger than my life. And he laughed. He was like, oh, you're being dramatic. And let's be honest, guys. Kenya is bigger than an individual. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than that fucking Ruto. It's bigger than the most powerful person you can think of. So if you're going to occupy JKIA on Tuesday, it's not because there's a big wig motivate. Let me tell you, CDF is very useless in a functioning community. But lazima tukuwe na CDF kwa sababu we have to beg. We have to have people that look down upon us. Oh, poor people, let me give you some money for school. We have the best constitution in the world. We don't need amendment. And by the way, for those who don't know, every Tuesday I post a video that breaks down some sections of the constitution, and I call myself Mwalimu wa Civics. So if you go to my timeline, I've already posted two videos so far. You can catch up with them. But in reality, guys, let us be very informed. Tunaibiwa. These people are not just stealing our money. They're stealing our future. They're stealing our future kwa sababu our age mates in first world countries, hawaishi kama sisi, they're way ahead of life because they have things that are working. They have a functioning system. Ikikuja kwetu, we are expected to pray, have faith, dialogue, listen, skizeni watoto wangu, skizeni bullshit, takataka, nonsense. We are not listening. We are not listening. And by the way, guys, in 2027, a day to election, hide ID za wazazi wetu. If you have, mi sina mzazi, so sina mtu wa kuficha ID. Kama mko na mzazi or if you're living with someone who's above the age of 50, they have no business voting for this country. They're the biggest tribalists. I'm not lying. No, your parent is not a saint, so don't fucking attack me. Your parent is not a saint, juu ashaika kwambia Swahili hata mjaluo nyumbani. So that's a fucking tribalist. We can't force them for being that, but we can learn from them. So no, they're not voting. The politicians know that when they mention church or when they mention God, they're going to appease our parents. We don't give a fuck. In my generation, God lives within us. So guys, mi nimekasirika, ni vile siko kwa ground. My fellows in diaspora, please, mi nawaomba, open your purses, open your wallets. Our brothers and sisters kule chini, let's buy them respirators, let's buy them water, let's buy them anything that they might need. Na tukirudi kule, let's join them. If we don't support them, we won't have a country to come back to. Ndugu zanguni, we won't have a country to come back to. These are people who are risking. Haki, mi acheni niwaambieni kitu inanikasirisha. Hapa there are staff that are working. Hata sijui kansela wa huku ni nani. That motherfucking Wavinya Ndeti amejenga some substandard shit at ni shelter ya bus na ameweka picha yake sura mbaya hapo anakaa manki. Amejaza picha yake hapo ni kama amejenga hiyo kitu na pesa yake. Another thing that we are going to fight for is no posters with or pictures with names of politicians in public services. Ulifanya na pesa ya wananchi, get your ugly face out of it. Hakuna sijui CDF by sijui honorable. What honorable Mkundua hatutaki. We don't have honorables. We are the honorables. We, the people, are the honorables. So tafadhali, mi asira yangu wake hizi nifikisha JKA sahi, but wallahi, if you're going to JKA on Tuesday, beba hasira yako. In fact, kumbuka 2007 wakati Ruto alichoma watu kwa kanisa, unachochaje wa mama na watoto ati waende wajifiche kwa church, alafu unatuma gunso wachome. Motherfucker, uko na roho gani? Guys, we are negotiating with that twat who rejected the 2010 constitution. Unajua this guy cannot protect our constitution. In my video, in fact, it's not even in my video, it's a Kenyan video kwa sababu I'm talking about the constitution. A president can be recalled if without his sanity. Nyinyi mmekaa hapa mnadhani Ruto akili yake ni mzuri? Ruto mnadhani akili yake ni mzuri? At this point in time, kama unadhani Ruto akili yake ni mzuri, wewe pia ni mwenda wazimu kama yeye. In fact, hata sina kitu kingine ya kusema. Just remember who the fuck we are dealing with. Those thieves who are stealing our futures. If you are age 25 and above, you don't have a job, you can't drive yourself, you've not mortgaged a house, yes, 25 and above, those are things that are attainable. Kama haujafanya hivyo, kasirika na mimi kabisa. Kasirika na mimi uende JKIA. Tafadhali. Mimi hakuna kitu nataka kusikia sijui. Si amejaribu sijui akafanya nini. You cannot wear dirty underwear. Hawezi toa panty alafu unakuja unavaa. That's exactly what is done with the cabinet. Is recycling. Panty ikiwa chafu unaosha ama unatupa. Hauivai tena. This guy is not just mad, he's wicked. If you can't tell your parents are superstitious. Mwambieni we are dealing with the devil worshipper. Anataka kukunywa damu zetu. Ndio sababu anatuua. He has to go. You cannot kill us and lead us and lie to us. You cannot. Kwani wewe ni nani? Imagine Ruto atasi binadamu. Ruto ni shetani. You know, in the Bible, I'm not a Christian, but in the Bible, they say the devil comes to steal, lie and kill. Ruto is doing all that. He's stealing, he's lying, he's killing. Na bado tuna negotiate na yeye nini? Tuesday asubuhi na mapema. Watu wa diaspora, mmeshanunulia warembo respirators. Mmetumia mandugu zetu fare. Mnangoja nini filimbi? Ndio hiyo kama hiyo ndio mnangoja, sawa? Open your passes. Guys, we are dealing, this is a spiritual warfare. Okay, mimi sijui spiritual aje, lakini mimi kile najua ni this guy has to go. Na mnisaidie tafadhali. Host na co-host, asanteni sana, muda wangu umeisha, lakini tafadhali nawaombeni hasira, jamani, hasira. Mbona mjakasirika wewe? Amjakasirika kwa nini? This guy is stealing your future. Why are you broke? Why are you broke? And Africa is rich as fuck. Why are you broke? You're not broke because you're lazy. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. We are broke because someone is stealing your future. We are refusing, we are rejecting. And ukikataa aibe future yako anataka kuwe. Let me tell you something. If you won't die in JKIA, you will still die in a hospital yenye daktari hata kutibu. So either way, you will die. My friend, naombeni Tuesday mpango ni ule ule. Kwa Irini, all the best, nawapenda, and I'm with you in this. Bye.
Thank you, Talibeb. Mumo. June, I'm a drop. Mumo?
Yes, can you hear me?
100%.
Thank you so much, host and co-hosts, for this opportunity. I've been looking for this chance. And I want to start by saying Ruto must go. And that is there's no apology for that. Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. On Tuesday, let us occupy JKIA. Now, I have some few points here. I was thinking if we can use songs, very short choruses, songs that can unite us as protesters, as a team, because of course there are goons that always are paid to come and distract us from our movement. Let us, if there are people who can compose very short choruses, please, guys, I urge you, please help us with those short choruses. Let us use them in our movement. Ruto must go. We are going to occupy JKIA, and there's no excuse about that. Huyu mtu ametuchosha, huyu mtu anatumaliza, and if you are not going to do it now, our future is going to be very bad. Guys, let us come out. Now, number 2, in a battle, always, hakutaikosa collaborators. Let us know that. Those who are going to collaborate, let us not give them focus. Let us ignore them. Tusiwasikilize na let us ignore them completely and continue with our fight. Our fight is that Ruto must go with the whole system. Hatutaki atiambalishe chochote nini ati appoint new CS. No, we are demanding that he must go. We are tired. Ruto ni mwizi, Ruto ni muuaji. He's the same person that we know from long ago, since he was MP. Now, Ruto kama kawaida ametumia kanisa miaka yote kuteka advantage ya mwananchi. And I'm requesting that if we can push for the, we can force the churches to step aside, tuwalazimisha, to make sure no politician yoyote ataenda kusimama kwa kanisa. Even Ruto himself, he should not attend any service in a church. He should know that hiyo kama wananchi tumekataa, na yeye mwenyewe ndio amesema mambo ya Harambee amekataa, na is still pushing for a bill in the parliament so that a petition bill ambayo itasaidia ati makanisa kujenga madhehebu. We should resist this. Ruto must go.
As you wind up,
Guys, Ruto must go. Let us not lose our focus. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you for keeping time. Thank you for not overrunning. Let's go to the next speaker. Just a moment. Let's go to the next speaker. I think we are having Emmanuel. After Emmanuel, Sophie Nush, Justus Juma, Joseph, then Interior. In that order. Please don't forget that order.
Okay, good evening, guys. Thank you for assembling here again. We are in this noble cause of Ruto must go. Well, first of all, we didn't ask this guy to sack the cabinet. Actually, why the cabinet sacked anyway? This guy refused to listen to us when we wanted him to listen to us before the second reading of the finance bill. But when it passed, now we changed our demands and Ruto must go. What he said today, that's evidence that those are the last kicks of a dying horse. Because how you go to your backyard, you start telling people, Ulenda X Wakatoroka, people who have no idea what X is, people who are, let's say, less educated. That's why they changa some money so that they can go to Finland, but then Mandago puts it in his pocket. Well, that's showing us a middle finger. We are not formless, by the way. And he calls us violence. We are not violent. But if violence is the language that Ruto understands, then let's use violence. Because after all, it's violence that it's through violence that we are able to capture the parliament. Well, then Bababi goes ahead and tells us he'll deal with us family. How do you deal family with someone with a bottle of water, a vuvuzela, firimbi, kitambaa, a flag, etc.? Guys, let's go to the airport. It's not the first time we can occupy JKA. If you remember when Raila 6 years ago, when he was coming back, we went to occupy JKA thinking that he was the real liberator until we saw his true colors the other day. Even if he's trying to backtrack today, we went to JKA. It took us so many hours to reach CBD, but we made it. So this time, let's go to JKA and camp there. Let's not go back home at 5 or at 6 in the evening, like some people try to scare us on 25th of June when we are trying to liberate this country. And trust me, guys, that day we will have made it. We almost won it, but some guys trying to distract us. Let's go back home, it's not safe. We gave them time to regroup, and they even went for the military. So when we give these guys time to regroup, they come with other ruthless means. We give them time, they come with guns, they come with military, they come with whatever, all those nonsense. So let's stay to our course. If we get to, when you breach JKA, let's stay at JKA until something happens. Those will
Your time is up.
go to JKA. Hello?
Your time is up. Finish up in 30 seconds.
Okay. Let me wind up. So let's stay on the course. Let's go to JKA. Let's occupy. Tear gas. Don't worry about the tear gas. When you inhale tear gas for 5 minutes, you now become resistant to it. You can inhale the whole day. So don't worry about the tear gas and other stuff. So guys, let's stay on the course. Ruto must go, and that's it. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hey, I'm very impressed by everything like every Kenyan is doing, especially people who are organizing this space to give us, a place where we can air our, share what we think. This is amazing. But Occupy JKA, like wase lazima tuende. This is very, very important. It's for our own good, for our own country. This is our right. I see Ruto amerudisha tu watu wenye alisema ati ana amedissolve cabinet. Then all of a sudden, after thinking and collaborating and talking. The only people he could get is the same group. Like, seriously, is he taking us seriously? Is he really listening to us? Does he really care about our country? Or anataka tu kuweka wezi wenzake waendelee kumsaidia kuiba? Hakuna kitu ingine anataka. So I mean, I don't know. Kila time mi huamka nafungua nasoma vitu zenye zinaendelea, I get mad. I feel so angry. Like, hakuna future for sisi. Yani hata kama umeinvest, umenunua ka kitu. Seriously, the next thing unajua, taxes zimeongezewa. You know, mimi nilisoma, by the way, after tamarking for years na sikuwa na job. You know, na umesoma, umelipa school fees, wazazi wako wame struggle. Alafu after all, huna job, huna any income, unakaa tu kama mtu hakuenda shule, una struggle, unaenda ushago, unarudi tao, unajaribu kumake it na uwezi make it. So wase, like, hii tunapigania country yetu, hakuna kitu ingine, sisi tunapigania haki yetu. Hii CDF my food. Hakuna, mimi nakumbuka nikienda shule, my mom hangelipa shule. Kuna huyu MP alikuja akasema ati atanilipia shule, atanisaidia kuingia shule. By the way, venye nilipita tu kuingia hivi high school, huyo MP hata hakuwa anywhere to be found. So hao watu wanakujanga tu, walikuja shule aka promise tukifanya vizuri venye atatulipia shule. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo ili happen. Hiyo yote tu ilikuwa uongo. Alielectiwa, akavotiwa the next 5 years, that was done. Tulikuwa tu forgotten. Na lakini godly mzazi aliweza kushughulika kuuza mali zenye alikuwa nazo atupeleke shule. Alafu tuko hapa, umemaliza shule, mzazi amesacrifice hizi vitu zote, alafu all of a sudden huna job. Like, what kind of life is that? And tunaona watu, unaona tu pesa, wameembezo pesa kila time, pesa imetumwa, imefanya hivi. And what do you mean? Mtu anatumia 3 million kudig borehole yenye haina haireti any results kwa hiyo community, haisaidii hiyo community. Pesa tu imekuliwa. Yani mtu anatumia millions kununua crate ya soda. Like, what is that? And we see these things happening every day. Like, we are fighting for our future. We're fighting for the future of our children. And we can't do that without getting angry. You know, every time you wake up and see something that has happened, get angry. Just want to do something, you know, we want to change that. And we can't change that by sitting, you know, home tunaangalia vitu zikihappen. Nani atakuja kuchange hizi vitu isipokuwa tu ni sisi? Again, kuna mtu ameongea before akasema kuhusu wazazi wetu kukua tribalist. Me, I'm talking from my own perspective because my mom was a very tribal person. You know, it was like, you can marry a Kisi, you can marry a Luo, and of course, hakuna venye ningefuata hizo vitu. Tulienda shule, tukalan, hizi vitu zote unaambua tu ni stereotype, ni maujinga. So wacha kushindilia sijui umetoka tribe gani. Mi uji-identify kama Kenyan. Mi mtu akiniuliza umetoka tribe gani, mimi, I don't even say where I come from, my village area. Say I come from Nairobi because I don't want to identify myself as I'm from this area so that people can start just defining me based on my tribal background. I am not my tribe. I am a person. I'm a Kenyan. So please, as we talk, let's avoid bringing other tribes. You know, we talk about Dwale. Yes, he's a Somali, but you know, is he as a person? It's not the whole tribe. We have Kenyans who are Somali. So let's not use words that will bring more division. We want to be more united than ever. If we are going to JKA, you can't be one tribe going. It's us as Kenyans. It's us angry Kenyans that we want to change that. And we can't change that if we start bringing tribal division that will continue fueling more hatred in the country. Tribal divisions, they have always used divide and rule. Divide this tribe to fight against this tribe so we can make a way and we can rule. That has happened, you know, 2007. That's what happened. You know, it has been, Kikuyus fight with Luos, with Kalenjin, and people die for nothing, for no reason. So we want to make sure that we push this, like tribal division. If you see someone, please don't divide that person according to where they come from. Don't use their tribe to define them. Let's judge someone according to that person's perspective and how they view things, not from where they come from, not from the tribe they come from. It's about what they do to us in our country. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. No tribal stuff for the country. June, you had dropped. I wanted to go to the next speaker, but now that you're back, please just give us your submission before you drop again. June Sigei, please.
Yeah. Hi,
Talk to us.
guys. Hello. Mm.
We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. First of all, guys, I am from that Bomet, and I can assure you that all those people were paid to be at that rally. Okay. There's a delay. As usual, my lines are always interrupted. But I come from Bomet, and it was something that even people from Nyanza used to come, and now we have no medicines. We have nothing going on. Yeah. Hold here. So why am I saying this? It's because there's a daktari who has spoken there earlier on today.
Can you guys hear June? Because I can't hear anything.
No, I can't hear from my side.
June, we are losing you.
Can anyone hear?
We are losing you.
Oh, yeah.
We are always.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear?
We are always losing you. I think you need to get another phone and join in the space. Jue, hiyo phone yako ni kama umeifunga kabisa. We can't hear you.
Okay,
Ni
fine.
kama gava umefunga hiyo simu yako kabisa. Hawataki tuongeleshe.
Okay.
Yeah. So just find another account you can jump in, then DM me. I'll give you the whatever the mic. Don't worry.
Okay.
So it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's hear from Joseph. Joseph.
Okay, I'm here, family.
Okay, go ahead.
Mnanisikia?
100%. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, good evening, family. Hope you're doing fine. I'm doing better, I thank God. Okay, my submission this evening, it's come from a lot of from a deep, heavy heart. Why? Juu mazee tuna lose focus. Tuna lose focus from little things. Let some little things not change our focus, tafadhali. Alafu kitu moja tunafaa kujua. If you think of missing on Tuesday at JKIA, me personally, financially, say I'm not that stable. Siko sure about it. Juu of late penye niko mejisimamia for quite some 2-3 weeks since nilitoka home. Nilikuwa TZ, nikatoka TZ, nikakuja home, ndo nikakuja huku. Na sweat mimi ni mkazi wa hapa. So my spend is quite high. So I have some financial challenges. But I will see way to fika at JKI since there is several reasons for me to attend there. Now guys, tunafaa kuangalia hii from this perspective. Tuesday I was on the field. Na hata nilipata kuumizwa. I was hit by a tear gas kwa shingo direct. Ndio maana sasa hii sauti yangu haijarudi vizuri. Niko na sasa hivi vidonda, niko na uzi iko ndani ya ngozi yangu. Nilipata injury, a serious injury. And mwenye tulikuwa na yeye, kama kuna wase waliona yule brother mwenye alikuwa juu ya roli ya maskari ile siku, sasa anakuwa threatened. Alimiss bullet, ilimiss tu kidogo, alikuwa anafaa kidogo auliwe. So tumuombe pia na tujaribu kucheck on our other friends. My friend, penye government imefika inatuonesha a middle finger. Kitu tuliona Tuesday, maskari walikuwa hawana moyo, hawana utu kabisa. Na kitu tunafaa kujua, kama ulikuwa na observe keenly, nilikuwa mi personally kwa hospitali penye askari walikuwa wanarusha tear gas, lakini after a moment askari ameumizwa analetwa to the same hospital. Tena kidogo askari wanaingia kwa the same hospital kutoa watu nje ndo wapige na tear gas. I was wondering what was not happening. Hii ilikuwa inatuonesha the danger yenye Ruto akiendelea kukaa kwa government kitu atafanya. Beside hiyo, kitu 7 mliona kitu ilifanyika. Aliua watu ndani ya kanisa. Na on Tuesday mliona the same thing ilikuwa inajirudia. Mliona maskari waliingia ndani ya kanisa Nakuru na wakapiga watu, wakifukuza watu protesters walikuwa wameingia ndani ya kanisa. Hiyo ni kitu inatuonesha, that is a red flag. That is a danger yenye inatuonesha venye mbele kunaenda kukua worse. If we back off now, hata kama in a slight little mistake, Ruto umeona ameanza kugain courage, ameanza kuenda kwa mikutano, anaongea shit. Hiyo is fine enough kukupatia moral, kukupea hasira ya wewe kufika JKIA, kukupea hasira wewe occupy somewhere, wewe kutoka nje. Hiyo ndo Eric Omondi alikuwa anasema the other time, hiyo ndio inatufinance. Ile kuongea yake chafu ndio ilikuwa inatufinance sisi kama Gen Z kwenda kwa field. So let that be able enough to finance you, to give you morale to go and cheer up and liberate our country. Guys, kuna kitu moja na pia ningependa kuongelea. Thank you KOT, thank you Afro, thank you Eyo. Ningelipenda pia mtupatie another way out, because there is hiyo to occupy Uhuru Park. Kuna venye nilikuwa nimeanza kuona hizo billboard at first, zilikuwa na tunaenda ni kama tulikuwa na camping skate, ukwe na kitu ya baridi, ukwe na nini, kumaanisha tulikuwa tunaenda kupiga huko kambi. Na sasa juu diverge kwenda JKIA, tunafaa tujue after hiyo Tuesday what next. Wednesday nini ita take place, Thursday nini ita take place. But if we go Tuesday tena to hold tuseme mpaka Tuesday nyingine, that will be wrong on us. Tuta lose morale, kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili, huyu jamaa tutampatia time ya na hakuna siku tutawin, hakuna siku tutatoa Ruto with that form, hakuna siku tutatoa Zakayo with that form of movement. So tunafaa tupange venye tuna hit kama yule msali alisema hapa before, eti tunafaa tuende tupige kambi, hata kama ni some months, hata kama ni some weeks, tuende tujitolee. Mimi najitolea, nibebe bag yangu, nibebe nguo zangu, niende na blanket, niende nilale hapo. Kama ni hapo, kama tunatoka huko tuende kulala Uhuru Park, niende nilale hiyo Uhuru Park, niende nilale hiyo Uhuru Park. Ifike asubuhi tuingie field, kesho yake tena tulale hivyo the same mpaka siku hiyo freedom, mpaka siku change itatokea. From that perspective, I can have some reference from a past history during the time ya Moi. Nilisikia, okay, na summarize, sorry, some few seconds from nilikuwa naangalia video fulani time ya Moi, kuna same thing ili happen. Watu walienda, wamama na wasichana na wanawake walienda wakapiga kambi Jomo Kenyatta. Na baada ya kupiga kambi Jomo Kenyatta, ilifika time mpaka wakatoa nguo wakatembea uchi. Na ukiangalia from that perspective, juu ya kupiga kambi huko na waka demand for their right, your right change ilitokea. But if we back off, we say eti tuende Tuesday, alafu after hapo Tuesday tena turudi tutulie tena eti tunapanga, hakuna. Hao watu watatuangamiza, huyu jamaa ataingiza baridi, huyu jamaa. Lakini if we be consistent with what we are doing, we have that courage, we can change everything. Be blessed, family.
Thank you so much. Interior.
Hi guys. Hello. You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Thank you, host and co-host, and everyone else who's listening. I don't have much to say because I think a lot has been said already. And of course, clearly I can, by the look of things, Kenyans are angry. And I want to say that, first of all, my message is to the government bloggers and everyone else who keeps telling us that we want to ban our country. I beg to differ. Actually, we are doing the opposite. We don't want to burn our country down. We are trying to save it from a madman. And secondly, Ruto, this guy, I think akona madharau tu sana, and he's so conceited and even now has the audacity to threaten us. I don't see why he's pushing for dialogue when he clearly knows our demands. He knows the non-negotiable demands that we've put out there, you know. So, you know, he just went and he hired back the same cabinet. So you see, that's like a big fuck you to us. And that makes us we should not relent. Let's be vigilant. Let's make this guy to resign, you know. The revolution has to happen. It doesn't matter how we just have to be, you know, if occupying JKIA will do the trick, then let's do it. That's all I can say. And even if it means that we have to protest for 1 week straight, I mean, because I feel like, when we keep giving space in between, this guy comes up with, he keeps pulling some, not so funny moves. I don't understand. But I'm just saying that, please, let's just be vigilant and let's force this guy out of government. I mean, that's all we have to do. We can't just stay back and watch as, bad things are unfolding, people are dying, and then we just accept dialogue. And there's nothing he's telling us that is true. He goes and does the opposite, So let's be strong. That's just my message. And of course, let's talk Elezeo Tuesday. Yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you. I don't really have much to say. Thank you, guys.
Asante sana. Asante sana. I can see Afro is back. But Paul Collins. Paul Collins, are you there? If Paul Collins is not there, I'll go to Taraji Brown, then Gen Z. Paul Collins, are you, just a moment, Taraji. Paul Collins, are you there? Okay, seems you're not there. Let's go to Taraji, then Generation Z, then probably Chege or Chege.
Hi,
Taraji, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think all I wanted to say has been said already, but a few things I wanted to point out. Nilikuwa nimeona that kutakuwa na matatu strike. So can you guys confirm that to make sure that in terms of logistics, everybody can be able to get to JKIA? And then another thing I wanted to say, easy organizations, they're best done in WhatsApp group. Hapa kwa easy X spaces don't reveal everything because, for example, somebody saying that wear uniforms is not something you're supposed to say on an X space. It's something you're supposed to say in your private groups, what is going on. And remember, JKIA is very, very cold at night. So kila mtu ajipange, ubebe na blanketi yako, na jaketi yako, ukitaka kuvaa trouser mbili, vaa. Just be organized. And then another thing, when you wanaenda na Uber, be very careful. NIS, wako kila mahali hata hapa hivi. Hi, NIS. Yeah, na pia kwa matatu, especially pale hivyo nini town, be very vigilant kwa sababu hao makarao wanaweza kuwa hapo hivyo loaming. So don't be alone. That is the key issue. For me, what I'm so worried about is usitokee ukiwa peke yako. Na ukitokea ukiwa peke yako, be aware of your surrounding. Angalia watu, before you start talking to people, pima watu kwanza ujue who is who so that you can form a group and go together. Because mkiwa wengi, inakuwa very difficult for those waizi, kwa sababu si polisi, au waizi wenye wana hijack watu na wana abduct watu, itakuwa easy for them to abduct you or anything like that. And then also it is important, and I'm not saying that you mention it here, but it is also important, we know, kwa sababu tunaenda kwa airport, what is ETA, estimated time of arrival? Guys have to discuss that also. And then when you wanauliza what next, that can be discussed tukiwa kwa ground, not now. So ile tumefika critical mass, that's when we can know what is the way forward. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Taraji. Gen Z.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Kioti. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Tunakusikia, endelea.
Thank you. So, mine is short and brief today. I can see clouds are gathering. I can see things are boiling very nicely. And we have to strike while the iron is still hot. This is the time. This is the time for any person who thinks that we cannot do anything. This is the time that we will show the world and the country that we can be able to make it. We can be able to bring down this guy. We can be able to send him home because we can. Guys, I remember when we started this movement, everybody was actually for us. But when Raila made that stupid statement, when he said that, so Ruto goes, so what next? Gachagua. You know, that is what actually brought about this bravery that Ruto has acquired. He thinks that he's better than Gachagua. He thinks that we don't have a plan. He thinks that people fear Gachagua. He thinks that when we say Ruto must go, he thinks that he's the only one going. Actually, let everybody know from now on that when we are saying Ruto must go, we are talking about him, Gachagua, and the entire government. We want a new generation. We want new things. This is not a position where he resigns and then Gachagua takes over, blah, blah, and all that nonsense. Kindly, we know the Constitution, we've read, we are learned, we are not stupid. So he's gonna go out. Wetangula can hold that thing for 60 days. We have new, fresh elections. That is what we are asking for. Again, I wanted to say we have a reason to go on Tuesday. We are ready. People, please mobilize. Go together in a group. And I wanted to tell you guys, if you see a person who is not identified as a policeman, a masked person, a person with a hoodie, a person who looks like a goon, and he wants to abduct you, please stone that guy. That is a criminal. Stone them. Stone them. You cannot actually look while your friends are being abducted. We cannot allow that. If it's a policeman who wants to arrest you, let him come, announce himself, and say, I'm a policeman, I'm going to arrest you for this and this. That is law and order. Anything else is criminal. So don't allow criminals to infiltrate you. Even those ones who are in Ubers and blah, 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 blah. Somebody cannot arrest you. Okay, in the Uber, yes, they can abduct you, but in a matatu, bwana, don't allow that nonsense to happen. So on Tuesday, we are on. Please, for those ones who are ready from huku mashinani, museme tuwatumie fare. Thank you very much, Afro.
Thank you so much. Afro, I see your mic on. Do you want to say something? Afrocentric? Okay.
No.
All right. Shege, man, Shege, talk to us.
Yo, sasa yo.
Unasemaje?
Liko poa. Watu walikuwa wananitafuta bwana. Guys, I haven't been abducted. Thank you so much for caring. I love this revolution that is happening, and asanteni sana kwa kuweka hii hashtag Occupy JKIA. Umesema Tuesday, mimi nilikuwa nauliza mbona tusianze Monday? Hata leo I hope we have deplatformed them from churches. Hashtag is Occupy everywhere. Haya sasa, maoni ni haya. Number 1, mimi ni mtu ninapendaga kuangalia trends. Nimeingia huku kwa trends, ninaona Ruto must go imeshuka. Guys, we are more than 3,600 hapa. Tulikuwa 5,000 tukianza. Can we keep this Ruto must? Ukitweet kitu ongeza na Ruto must go. Hashtag Ruto must go. Hiyo irudi juu. Ndio wajue enyewe wametuboa na wametuchokesha. There are a lot of insiders. Let me speak in English. Nataka wasikie vizuri kabisa. Nataka wakifanya ati wanaweka picha huku za Waarabu na picha za wazungu. Why are we saying Occupy JKI? Ask yourself, until now, we had not said Occupy JKI. Why are we saying that now? It's because we are tired. The citizens, we the people, the sovereign is tired of the regime, and they are taking it upon themselves to shut down this system. We are shutting down everything. We are resisting everything. Kuna mtu alikuwa anaitwa hivi alinifurahisha. In fact, nilikuwa naitisha mic so that I cede my time to her because her anger is perfect. Anasema vizuri sana, tumechokeshwa na nyinyi. So go and tell Ruto, he's no longer my president, no longer our president. We have refused him. This is the people saying, no, we do not want to hear you anymore. You are regurgitating the same shit we told you to fire. Alafu unajaribu kuturudishia hapa. So guys, I know where there has been abductions, there's been infiltration of the protests. Let us be vigilant. I have been seeing there's a guy who's posting things on on your rights. I'm going to post them on my timeline. So guys, if you want to know how to execute a citizen's arrest peacefully, this is something that we need to learn. I reiterate that we need to remain peaceful. Let us remember, we are peaceful, but we are vigilant. We are not going to accept that people just come and run over us, that they try and infiltrate and spoil the spirit of Kenyans. We love our country. We do not hate our country, and we are determined to take it back. Those Americans who are saying that the president was weak, they have not seen weakness. We are going to demonstrate his weakness totally, because he is very weak. He says one thing, less than a week later, at no harambes. He then goes to a church and does the very same thing he said he doesn't do. His weakness is beyond measure, and we are tired of him, and we are saying he must go. Thank you so much, Ayo and Afro, for co-hosting, KOT for always keeping this space open. Guys, when kids come here and say fuck you and fuck the system, you have to allow them. This is their space. This is ndio tumeingia. Ukisikia kwa unpalatable, teremka toka. Ile unataka kusikiza, washa KTN na wale wengine kina Citizen ambao labda wanatumia language ile unataka. But here people speak their minds, they speak their hearts. These are patriots, they love their country, and that's why they are angry. And we should allow them to do that. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much.
Ayo, just a minute. Ebu mtumie hiyo hashtag ya Occupy JKIA. Tunataka hiyo hashtag ikuwe na trend size with over 3 million. Kesh ndiye ananiambia hivyo, lazima ikuwe ina trend. So mpitie hapo kwa Kesh, mpitie kwa any other person mwenye amepost hiyo nini na hiyo hashtag, mweze kupitia, because we want this thing to be massive. Yeah? To songe nayo, alafu on Tuesday, as we are saying, we need to occupy that JKIA. Personally, I'll be there. I've always been on the street, so tusiogope. Ayo.
Thank you so much, KOT, for bringing that to light. Thank you so much, Shege, for your amazing contribution. And this is the worst time that someone will decide to call me, but oh well. I want to go next to Leon. Leon, Phil X, Kamau, then Dr. Nimrod. In that series and sequence, Leon, Phil X, Kamau, then Dr. Nimrod. Leon, go ahead.
Thank you. So, naona hapa watu wamekasirika na hivyo ndio vile ndakana ikue. Mi nilikuwa nataka kuongelea that nilikuwa nauliza, why can't we guys make this protest that we are doing Monday to Friday? We do this thing consistently for the next 2 weeks, for the next just 2 weeks. You see kama Zakayo atashuka. Because this guy amekuwa emboldened. Unaona kama vile unakumbuka alikuja kwa ile special Osama. Alikuwa ametulia na kaka kuku imenyeshewa. Sahi sasa ameanza kuona ati ni kama vile alitoa the CS, ameregitate them, amewarudisha, ameona ni kama things zime calm down, ameanza kuwa emboldened. Hata anasema ati sijui atapasa ata move a bill in parliament that ya sijui harambes. This guy is basically defecating on us, on our faces. He's defecating on our faces. Anatuambia you eat that. So why can't we to occupy JKIA for 2 weeks, Monday to Friday. Tuko hapa watu kama 3,000 sahi kwa space. Kama tukianza tu kutrendisha hiyo kitu, occupying Monday to Friday, watu watatokea. Now the other thing is, after occupying JKIA, kama Zaka bado anasumbua, tunaenda the next thing, embassies. Hizi gigiri huku, kuna embassies mingi huko na kuna UN. Tunaenda huko tena tuna occupy. Watu nyako Mombasa, wa occupy Mombasa airport. Watu nyako Moi International Airport. Watu nyako LD, wa occupy LD airport. Watu nyako Kisumu, to occupy Kisumu airport. Watu nyako Nax, make sure magari tuna disrupt transport yenye natoka Nax to Nairobi to Nax to LD. Everywhere. Tuna make sure we are felt. Watu nyako Nax wasi feel that are part of it. So wako Nax Tuesday, nyinyi make sure magari zinatoka nai kukuja Nax azifiki, hizo ma container zinataka kutoka Nax ziende LD, aziendi, ziko trapped in between. Tuone kama watasema nini. Tuna make sure, unajua tukioccupy JKIA, ndege zenye zilikuwa nakana ziland Kenya JKIA zita divertiwa zende ziland Mombasa, by the way. So tuambie wasata wa Mombasa, ende mu occupy Mombasa. Ndizo ndege zitabidi ziende Dar es Salaam. Tuone kama gava itatusikia. Mpaka watu watusikie. Mimi ndo nilikuwa nataka kusema asante.
Thank you. Next patient, please. Philex. Philex, are you there? All right, Kamau.
Yo, Leon, ni aje? So I'd like to pick it up from mahali umeachia. So umemaliza ukasema ati ase hawatusikii. Kusema ase hawatusikii ni uongo. Juu the last time I checked, tuko na president mwenye ako na functional ears. Na kitu ina happen ni kufanya vile tunamwambia ndio hataki. And one thing tunafaa kukubali saa hizi ni ati umse already saa hizi ashaenda as in whatever tunapanga kufanya na everything, yeye ashajiweka position yenye ako mbele yetu kabisa. Ukiangalia whatever alifanya kwa kabineti yake ilikuwa shit. Leo ukisikiza vile ameongea imekufala kabisa. And mimi nataka kuuliza kitu moja. Hiyo story ya kufanya consistent protest ndio best in the world. Sababu if we miss it this week itakuwa ni noma sana. Sababu umse vile Leon amesema is already shitting on us, na tukimiss it this week itakuwa ni ngumu sana for us kuifanya. So Tuesday very early, si story ya saa 6, and it's all about urgency, as in how fast tunataka aende juu hii wiki. Atakam atajio mbogi ingine hasi wengine 11 akitajasi wengine 11 si wiki 23rd. So far tuko a month down the line kutoka time tulianza hizi protest, na so far so good. Hiyo kazi yote tumefanya according to him ni zero work, na aliconfirm vile alirudisha the same people kwa hiyo cabinet. So ni tuipige consistent kama itabidi kutoka Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And me hata nikiweza ulizwa tuseme kama saa hii msi yako na doo yako, alafu tuseme tumechanga doo hapa hivi, tumepatia msi mmoja tunafaa kwenda trip, alafu tukosa kwenda hiyo trip, na umse tunaanza kusema ati sasa tuende kwa busy yake, ati tuende place wife yake anakuanga, place sijui nani anakuanga sijui. Now idea ku disrupt economy ni idea fiti kabisa, but you guys mnafaa ku understand that by a person ku engage kwa hizo ma illegalities za kumake maganji hivyo vile imbogi inafanyanga already, hawajali kuhusu economy kukua crumbled. And that's why hata economy ikiwa vile iko saa hizi, they are still continuing to enrich themselves na pesa ya wizi, because taxation kulingana mimi ni wizi. So for me, I'm of the idea ya kumpata mahali penye yako mtaani. Sasa that is hapo State House, but sasa that is story another day. Now to focus kwa hiyo story ya kwenda JKIA. So at that point mimi nimemaliza.
Okay. Tuko na Nimrod.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the chance, because I've been up for a few days. Last I got a chance to say something. Kitu ngoda kusema ni kuwa the idea is hii kitu vile ikianza saizi, it should not stop until you achieve the goal. People have to realize that the moment you pull off, these guys keep on getting stronger, and that's what you lost the chance. This is a second opportunity, because the guy has hung lips, amejinyonga na kamba yake mwenyewe. Unaona, him reappointing those guys is a 2 fingers up your ass. Lakini mtafanya nini? These guys anajua kuna mama na watoto wanakufa hospitali saa hizi, they don't have medicine, and guys drive with big cars in Nairobi. Unaona ma MP unashona watoto wao wadosi vile wanaishi. We're not saying it's not a war between the rich and the poor. No, I'm not into that. But people are forgetting that we're not sharing these images of what the impact of the atrocities is having into the communities and the growth of the country. This is what I wanted people to understand, that easy vitu lazima, these images need to start flooding the social media, the spaces we are occupying, because people need to understand the reason why people are going out there. People need to share their horrible stories of the opportunities lost. People need to share their stories of pain caused by the system of perpetuated by these guys. Talk to the people. Ruto is just, we're focusing on the wrong person. We need to change our mind right now. Tutatoka, wacha nikwambie, kila mtu akijua anatoka, what takes him out. Hata kwa hapo kijaribu kuambia watu watoke, people will come out because they know the reason why they're coming out. Because the images are out there. That's what we are. Our vijana, mimi I'm past that age, but I'm sharing knowledge. Vijana, you got the understanding of the technology. Share these images. Share the atrocities which is happening. The cost of what the impact. My friend, unaona ma MP, ma senators, ma governor, they live in luxury. Alafu down 10 kilometers down the road, mtoto anakufa ana medicine. Mama anakuja na akigive birth. The guy took away the only thing, started rescuing women in Kenya, giving birth. He took it away, started making business out of it. That's an animal, man. So we need to start changing mind. We need to share these horrors of what what is actually happening in the country, man. With that history kwenda hapo sasa, people need to start organizing themselves, because there's people who are going to stay there for some days. People need to start figuring out how these guys are going to survive there. While kila mtu ukipata time unaenda una support. Should be a nationwide call. This is Tribe Kenya, man. This is what we are fighting for. Share these images. Let's hit them hard. Hatajua nini na happen. Trust me. Umoja ni nguvu, believe you me. You guys, Kenya is rich enough. Wacha nikwambie, jiulize saa hizi kwa nini unateseka. Kuna mama moja ameongea pale Aruna kauza, is it Kenyans ni wavivu, they cannot work, or they're not stupid? You know, we need to ask hard questions amongst ourselves. Why are we going out there? Mtu asije kukombea politics wambeke side. With all that said, nimesema kama hii kitu itaanza, people need to start organizing. People need to DM me. We start figuring out how these guys are going to survive on those protests. It's not an easy task. Watu mpaka manyumbani, they start cooking food. Any people, we work as Kenyans. We tell these fuckers, we don't want this type of nonsense anymore. The countries will change whether they like it or not. And we're going to change it because we are the country. They're robbing us dry, man. Wake up. Figure out. Let's work it. Tushikane pamoja. We make these things happen once and for all. Wengine tunataka kukufa tukiona at least Kenya one day imefika ile place sisi tumekuja tumeishi. Tumepoteza all our lives down here. Mtu anakuambia story ya kukaa Europe, kuja kutafutia kazi Europe. Does he know that maisha anakupotezea, my friend, you'll never get it back. Yeah, we came and made it down here, but let me tell you one thing. There's one thing we'll never buy, time. And that's what people don't understand. Home is always home, man. Hatuwezi kubali mtu akuja afikiri kama ataisheza kama toilet paper yake. Yeah, with that, man, let's work as a team, man. Move forward. Bless all.
Thank you. You can see we have new speakers, but I'll go to Afraha Ben Wakili. Afraha Icon Ben Wakili. Afraha, are you there? Afraha Icon. All right. Wakili.
Hi, Ayo. Can you hear me?
100%. Go ahead.
Very good, very good. During the day and the part of the weekend, I'd started losing hope. If at all we are going to occupy JKIA or occupy State House as was trending earlier before today. But now I'm rejuvenated and nimekasirika enough. I think one of the things that you need is we need to be of same focus and same mind, which is what has been lacking in the previous days. And we do not need to listen to anybody who is giving us negative energy. Leo nimeshinda Twitter, mi kazi yangu ni kutumia block button. Anybody who is a government sympathizer.
Hello.
Hello? Unanisikiza?
Yeah, please go ahead. Guys, do not
Go
unmute
ahead.
your mic until called upon, please.
Thank you. So anybody who is a government sympathizer, anybody who seems to be sharing fear, selling to us fear, mi nimeshinda nikiwa block. And I think that should be the case across the board. Do not listen to anybody who is against the revolution. And somebody has rightfully said it. Arutoki tunaenda job. We are not expecting an air-conditioned office in JKA to be served tea and bread. Tunaenda to fight for our rights. We're going to tell Ruto to his face that enough is enough. Sahii amekuwa Bomet na kuna demu mwingine alikuwa anasema ati alikuwa anaanza kuongea lakini mic yake ilikuwa na issue. Anasema watu wenye walikuwa Bomet wamelipwa. And you see, Ruto is becoming bold every single day. It is very unfortunate that the same Ruto dismissed the entire cabinet. And to show us the middle finger, wale watu wasetu wabaya, like mtu kaa Kindiki Kithure, mtu kaa Duale, mtu kaa Chirchir, ndio anatangulia kuwa appoint. Like, I'm literally telling you, utadu, like, that, what the fuck, that is what he is telling us. And then yeye pia sahii ameanza kuongea mbaya. Ameanza like ni kama yeye pia ameanza kushika kuwa emboldened. So as a people, we need to show him and tell him that as much as he's saying enough is enough, we are also telling him, boss, your time is up. We gave you time, we gave you a position to lead us, but we are done with you. Go home. You have to go. Secondly, Ruto has to be told, unaona kama leo Ruto akiwa Bomet, nilisikiza hiyo speech yake. Jama is not even referring to Kenyans respectfully. He's not even telling us, he's not even sorry for what has happened. He keeps talking about people when you wanaharibu mali, when you wahalifu. Like, to him, we are criminals, we are thieves who deserve to die. We want to tell him that this Kenya, not everybody, nobody applied to be born here. We own this country equally. Everybody owns the country equally. So he is not more of a Kenyan than we are. We are also Kenyans. So his time is up, he has to go. So mimi nataka kuambia everybody, kama unataka kutokelezea JKIA, like me, I will be there. Please be there. But secondly, tusikue tu JKIA tunaenda on Tuesday, alafu jioni ikifika watu kaa kina Boniface Mwangi na mafala wengine anasema ati yo, tokeni ati mrudi home. Aturudi home, the only thing inatura JKIA ni kama tumesikia Ruto ameenda. Tunakaa huko usiku mchana, inakuwa ni kitu continuous. We are not going to give them space, because one thing I've also noted is that tunaenda, when we are almost winning, people retreat. At in the middle of the darkness, not anything can happen. Then tomorrow napata wamefanya kitu nyingine tena. So we're going to stay there as long as we are heard and as long as we are listened to. Secondly, this country, we cannot stay in a country where people sell to us fear. You see, you can't tell us, nimeona watu wengine kwa timeline wanasema ati JKIA is heavily guarded. My friend, if the government wants to kill you, the government killed a kid in Rongai who was just playing around, just left their house, akienda sijui kununua dawa. The same government went to Kenyans who had not protested in Githurai and killed them. The same government went to kill people in Nakuru. And so many people are missing from the timeline, a majority of them who are in parliament, who probably were rounded up and locked up maybe in a secret location, and wanauliwa bodi zao zikiriliziwa one after another. So this government will kill you whether you go to JKIA or whether you sit comfortable in your bedroom. So when you think you can sell to us fear and sit in your kayak thinking that, oh, they will not come for you, my friend, if they want to come for you, they'll kill you anywhere. So you'd rather die in the battlefield and die a death of success than sit in your house selling fear, and then you are caught by a stray bullet, now kufie uko. So you must make a choice. And we as Kenyans, we have said the hashtag is Ruto must go, and we are occupying JKIA. And anybody in any part of the country, if you cannot make it to Nairobi, please make it useful. Kama uko Mombasa, like somebody has said, there is Moi International Airport. Make it useful there. Kama uko Kisumu, there is Kisumu International Airport. Kama uko Nakuru, block the roads. If you are on Wayaki Way and you are in Naivasha, you cannot come make it to Nairobi, block the road. Let us make the country impassable and ungovernable, so that this Ruto can know that this country is ours. See, ake, hii ni country yetu. We have and we own this country, both for our generation and for the generation that is coming after us. It is our country, and we deserve to know and to dictate how we are going to be led. So you're not going to stand on top of rooftops, bribe a few Kenyans, pay a few hooligans, and then he claims and says enough is enough. Yes, just like he says enough is enough, we are also telling him, boss, your time is up. You have to go. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time to go. Elijah Singe.
Yes, I thank you very much for the opportunity. Today, I don't want to say much because I believe we have been here for quite some time. But I'm happy at least everyone now is saying that on Tuesday we have to go to JKIA. And I still, guys, let us go there. Let us at least tutoke kwa wingi. Like on Tuesday, we went to town. I won't say that we were few because hawa jamaa walikuwa wanatutawanisha after some 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But I can tell you that at least we did something. So guys, let us come out. Let us not just talk here and then we don't come out. On Tuesday, guys, kindly, let's do it. Ukipata nafasi mali mtu mmoja amepenya hata kama ni kwa fence, zote tuingilie pale. And I would echo someone say something. If we find ourselves inside GKIA or inside anything else, please let us not leave that place. Let us camp there mpaka tusikike. I said this, the only mistake that we did on 25th when we went to parliament was to leave that place. Oh, I wish that we atunge leave. But again, we keep on learning. We learned our lesson. But of course, I will call also if we can actually also increase the days of, of Mandamano. Because this 1 day, 2 days, I think the guy is trying also to marshal himself up and we're kind of losing it. So guys, let us also keep on working on how we can be able to improve. Let us learn from our mistake. And also let us, let us not focus more on Gaido, more on Boniface and all that. Let us assume and then we keep on fighting. We know our cause. And I'm very sure that we're going to win this war. What Ruto says today, I'm very sure that I believe he said that out of fear. He wants to instill fear in us. But he doesn't know that no one is financing us. Actually, I was surprised to know the wife, she was financed by the Ford Foundation. So, because walikuwa finance, they think that sisi tuna finance you. No, I've been going to town every day I've never been, given money by anyone. And actually, I don't want any money because I know the reason why I go out there. So guys, let us keep on fighting for what we believe in. Hii uoga tutoe kwa wale wachache na wale wamezoea kuongea hapa na watokei, guys, tutokee. We are going to change this. We are going to change this. So thank you very much. I won't say much. I want to give someone else a mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kasimu.
Thank you. I'm audible enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, now we have agreed, and what we will do on Tuesday actually will be the determinant, because last day we were not there. Then Katiba went to court, and we were given the leeway to go and continue with our petitions. I wish all of us, we are saying, let us be out on Tuesday. Let us go to JKIA. If the police say to come there, we go and sit on the runways. We occupy even the body areas. We see what this man is going to do. Then as we go there, we need, if people can come with the posters, others can even come with the Manila papers, you can write them exactly the things we want. When we say Ruto must go, we don't mean Ruto, it is his government. All the appointments have been see somebody, a minister have appointed this and this to serve in a certain board. We are saying, let the president go. Let all the ambassadors he has appointed come back. Let all the board members he has appointed go with him. We want to start Kenya from a new slate. Not about Ruto alone now. Let him go with his cabinet. All the appointments the cabinet has made, all of them should go. All these commissioners in these constitutional commissions who have been appointed by Ruto should vacate office with him. And I think after we are through with the JKIA, I've seen the parliament is resuming tomorrow. The next, like the former speaker has said, the biggest mistake we made was leaving parliament. We should have stayed in parliament, even if it would mean a whole week, until the guy resigned. If we assess JKIA, we should be there up to Wednesday. When the parliament resumes, we march from JKIA, we go back to parliament. We flush them out, we stay there until the camp.
supreme legal framework that governs how they operate. Now, I want to remind everybody about why William Ruto, why we are calling for Zakayo to go. Ruto must go is premised on 3 points. Number one, the supremacy of the people. Number two, Ruto is being ejected by the people because he has violated the social contract with the people. And I want, if you allow me, will agree with me that if you look at Articles chapter 6 of the Constitution, William Ruto has violated every single provision in chapter 6. And that is why the Kenyan people are saying he must go. The Kenyan people are not saying that William Ruto has an opportunity to reconstitute government. He has violated the social contract. He has violated the deed of contract the Kenyan people gave him on the ballot in 2022. And I want us to be very categorical. What does chapter 6 provide? Article 75 of the Constitution speaks to the character of a leader. And I want to just make reference to that very quickly so that we have clarity, so that whenever these people are coming out to tell you that they care more about Kenya than we do, those of us calling for Ruto to go, this is exactly what we are saying. Chapter 75 of the Constitution defines the conduct of state officers, and one of and I can quickly refer to that a state officer shall behave, underline, shall behave, whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interest and public or official duties. William Ruto is conflicted from Nairobi to the farthest world, compromising any public or official interest in favor of a personal interest. Is William Ruto guilty of that? The answer is a resounding yes. Number 3, that is Article 75 1C, demeaning the office the officer holds. Has William Ruto demeaned the office of the presidency? The answer is again in the affirmative. So what does Article 75 provide? That a person who contravenes clause 1 shall be subject to the applicable disciplinary procedure for the relevant office. William Ruto has violated that. But I want to go further to Article 76 and again remind us of the financial probity of state officers. William Ruto has violated that. He is running commercial enterprises that are beneficiaries of state tenders, which is against the Constitution. William Ruto has confessed to being a beneficiary of activities that are prohibited under Article 77 of the Constitution.
Dr. Nyakun,
He
Dr.
kindly,
Dr. Milton, kindly
yes,
try to
thank
land.
you.
Say that again.
Kindly try to land. We're actually giving 2 minutes.
Oh yes, okay. I'm doing that now. I'm doing that now. I want to say that Dr. William Ruto confessed that he was apparently or allegedly given a private jet. Again, the Constitution prohibits receiving of any gifts, and if you do, then those gifts are on behalf of the Kenyan people, and they must be declared. When William Ruto tells the country and the world that he was given a private jet by a friend, he has violated that constitution. William Ruto has been lying with his teeth, looking at Kenyans. How does he now pretend to tell us that he has not demeaned the constitution? He has not held the office of the presidency in contempt. William Ruto has violated. I want to invite us to read Article 232 of the Constitution on the principles of public service. He has violated every one provision of those under Article 232. William Ruto has failed as a symbol of national unity as required under Article 131 of the Constitution. Good people, there is nothing else William Ruto can tell the Kenyan people, and we must be angered more today that he comes to lecture us, he comes to lecture Kenyan people and speak as though the office of the presidency is a gift, is an inheritance he was given by his parents. This is a privilege that the Kenyan people gave him, and the Kenyan people are now demanding that he relinquishes. Failure to which they have to take it by force. And I want to, in conclusion, tell the Kenyan people that removal of a president is provided for in the Constitution. And therefore, anybody telling us that we have to wait for 2027 is living a dream of the past. And they must be reminded and called out. The time has come. You cannot operate as Moi without the constitution that Moi had. You cannot operate as Moi without the information space that the people lacked during the Moi regime. This is a new era, and everybody must wake up and smell the coffee. And the sooner William Ruto realizes that and vacates, the better for everybody. He needs to pick the cue from Emmanuel Macron, who actually called for a snap election when he realized that the rug was being pulled under his feet. This is a time that patriots must come out, and the funding of the revolution is the pain that the Kenyan people have been subjected to under the illegitimate exercise of power by William Ruto and his cartel. I drop the mic and hand over.
Thank you so much.
Back
Thank
to
you
the
so much,
host.
Dr. Milton Nyakundi. And now, guys, I do not want to appear like I'm biased, but we have over 100 people.
By William Ruto and his cartel.
Okay.
I
Please.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, please mute.
And hand over.
Okay.
Back.
Thank you. So we don't want to appear like we are being biased, but we have over 100 people already requesting. So I want to also request the next speakers to really restrict to 2 minutes each. Simon, you're next. Over to you.
Okay, thank you for the mic. I think I'm audible enough. Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I'm Simon. I'm from Nakuru. So I had a question for Dr. Miguna. Like, is it in order, like, we have more than 40 tribes in Kenya, and we have Kikuyu, who are currently having like 7 top seats at the government, since they are doing this with their chest. They are having their, like, we know the parliament we have, it will, the CSS who are being nominated, they will go through the parliament, since we don't have a parliament here. Is it in order, like, we have those ethnics, or like they are not being heard about their voices? I'm about to tunafaa kuwa, like, it's Kikuyu and Kalenjin and the Luya people. So that's the first question. The other thing I want to tell people, it's on Tuesday. Please, people, let's be there. And one thing I noted, most of us think police are our best friends. They are no longer our friends. and I'm advocating for this. They are no longer our friends. They are beating us. They are killing us. I think from next week, we are not going to be friends. We also have weapons. We can do to them what they are doing to us. I'm not happy seeing like my people of my age being killed by the police. Like what happened last week on in Nakuru. It's something like still in my mind, and I'm feeling like I'm just fed up with this government. Those police have orders from above. That boy who was killed there, he was not in the demos, but he was killed. He was just carrying like a paper bag from the supermarket. He was going home. People, police are not our friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon Gathoni, for really keeping it within time, and our condolences. And really, it's unfortunate. Police brutality has always been a problem in Kenya and keeps really taking away lives. Daktari is noting the questions, and then I think after 3 to 4 speakers, he will chime in, or if he wants to chime in between, he's free to chime in. I see Ask You dropped, so let's go by Blues. Blues, 2 minutes each. A Bluesman committee. Okay, he's not speaking. Let's...
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'd like to start by saying that urging the revolutionaries to take note of the fact that the government is doing all it can to infiltrate the demonstrations. So to be at least keen, every step we make, we try to be as effective as possible, because we see so many times it becomes boring due to infiltration. And then next, I've had so many people asking about that the movement no longer has agendas due to like the rejection of the bill. But I urge the influencers to be driving some agendas actively, such as the arrest of the corrupt people, and to try and mention them precisely. We should also bring the agenda of the story of recycling those CSS who are recycled. So we should be bringing them out clearly, loudly, in terms of posters and everything, so that they can be seen as the main agendas that we have. And then also the justice for the fallen soldiers also should be a key agenda, which is being shown through posters and posts every day, so that we are not mocked like we don't have any agendas as per now. And then this story of that we are leaderless, and also I'd also like those who are doubting whether being leaderless can work. I think the main reason for being leaderless is not to have anyone calling off the demonstrations so that they go for negotiation. So again, I'd like to encourage activists to prepare some memoranda, and also so that they can to prepare some memoranda and present to the president, so that like we can be seen, at least we are approaching for dialogue, but not anyone calling off the demos. I hope I'm clear a bit. And then something else. I've noticed that so many of the demos that we had were always successful, but not very successful, simply because maybe zinakuja kushika late, around maybe 3 to 4, when now night is approaching. I have this idea which I always talk about in many spaces, that we try and insist on starting demos early. If we start demos as early as 7 a.m. and maybe by 8, we are seeing something tangible on the streets, everyone will be encouraged to come out, and it will be even 5 times more effective than it could have been when it started at maybe 10 or 11 or later. Something again I'd add is about education, just insisting, let's keep on educating people out there. Because there are some people who still feel like Gen Z, they are not genuine
like we are just being anarchists. So let's continue educating people both online and offline. Mostly insist on the fact that the country is not going in the right direction. That is mostly in terms of debts, accountability, and also our voters. Like as voters, we don't prioritize the right the right priorities when looking for who to vote. Like I see so many people like to vote for someone who is close to some powerful people like the presidential candidates. And we should educate people that when you elect someone who is close to a powerful presidential candidate, that person now is even able to steal more than even someone who is not closer to that candidate. So I think that is all.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Bluesman, comedian. Yes, and I would like to encourage that we really keep it the time 2 minutes each. And so I forgot to mention to Gadoni Simon, because I understand that he was very frustrated and even talked about arming himself against the police. I'd like to emphasize that this gives power to the oppressor. Because when they brutalize you and you are armed, also they'll say they are defending themselves. So at the moment, the demonstrations should be and have been peaceful. So once you arm yourself, you're going to be mistaken as a goon, even though you are defending yourself. So we take what you say with concern, but I would really just warn against, arming oneself as a civilian. It can cause a lot of chaos that I want to put on record. Now, let's proceed with engineer. Engineer has dropped. Mork, please go. Yeah. Mork, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Maj. Thank you, guys. Thank you, the host and the co-host, and the guys in the speaker and the guys in the listener. Yeah. First of all, I just want to thank the Kenyan people for coming out in the street to ensure that it has come to pass. I don't have much to say, but I just want to tell people that because right now the member of parliament are coming back, and I know there will be some of the ones that the president would force them to go through and pass. For example, the reintroduction of the office of the first ladies and all that. As a people, we should ensure that we cripple the parliament. Parliament should remain null and void, and we should ensure that the members of parliament are stopped from even attending their sessions, so that we remain as we said that okay, we are focusing on Ruto must go, and when Ruto is going, he need to go with everybody, everyone in that government, not only the CS, even the MPs need to go with Ruto. So people need to be focused, and people need not to take the fear. I know they will be selling fear to people, like today's gathering where the president really sold a great fear that they will dealt with people excessively, and that means according to his speech, the guy is even ready to do the worst. People should not back down, and people should not do anything, but people should focus on Ruto must go. Thank you much. I will stop at there and let other speakers go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hannah, over to you. And I see Dr. Mkawasi is on with us. Welcome on board. Hannah, over to you. Hannah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, Marge. Can I come in a few minutes, please?
That's all right. So we go to the Godfather. Godfather, take a go.
Thank you, Marge. Thank you, Hillary, the host.
the other co-host, and our key speakers, the General, Migaya Cage, I think Agustino Neto is not yet here, among others, and those who have already given their sentiments on this current affair that is developing, has been developing for the past few weeks, if not a month, in the country. So mine is very simple and very quick. To begin with, I'm asking our speakers, our panelists today. We see Occupy JKIA trending. This is something that has been mooted before. Now we are at it, and it seems like today it was the #1 trending hashtag, so to speak, in the country, which means on the 23rd of July, we are going to occupy the JKIA. What portends, or what are the aspects of trying to occupy JKIA, apart from on the face value we are trying to stop international travel so that the country can actually understand that we are serious? Can we also have occupy Uhuru Park as well as JKIA? That's also another question that I'm also pushing so that our speakers are going to answer, so that we have some clarity, and maybe that will also be very interesting in terms of trying to stretch the police force in terms of how much they may have to deal with. And lastly, the revolution is on. No retreat, no surrender. Patriots, let's march forward. Thank you so much, Madge, and the other co-host, and Hillary, and let's see others. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I would like to give this opportunity to Dr. Mkawasi, if you're ready to say something before we proceed.
Thank you so much, Madge and Hillary. So a quick comment I'd like to make is, as we've been proceeding and watching things unfolding, that I've been interacting quite some with a good number of reactionary voices. So I'd like to speak a little bit on this. Now, if you voted for Ruto thinking that he will bring down dynasties, and you say he did bring down dynasties, and that he will give back Kenya to the ordinary Mwananchi, now, what triggered the revolution, which is the finance bill, proved that that was a wrong promise, because all he did was snatch the system from the dynasties and inject it with steroids. Because this right now, what we are watching is like dynasties on steroids. All demands from reactionaries who are claiming they are on the side of the revolutionaries miss one thing, and this is how you'll recognize them. They strategically go silent on acknowledging stolen funds, stolen public funds way back from Kenyatta 1. A key reason why the hideous and inhuman injustices injustice of poverty is going on right now. I mean, there's no way you can see your relatives or you yourself experiencing the level of poverty that is going on right now, and think that the dynasties have been removed and we are on our way to becoming a better country, and that we should give a chance to what is unfolding. That is something that I think we have to be careful about when we start having people who are telling us, you know what, I'm not quite sure about where you guys are going with the revolution. I think you should just wait for the old guards to make things right. The revolution you have triggered is ours too. We in the diaspora, and I think this is an important thing for me to mention to my diaspora friends. Kenyans abroad we have to pool our resources, both financial and intellectual, in providing the support necessary to build the Kenya that Kenyans have already articulated they want. And that Kenya is already ideally in the Constitution. We went through this whole Constitution revamping. It's there. Transforming those ideals into reality is the work of the revolution. We have the map, we know the destination, we need the vehicle and the fuel to get there, and that is what revolutions do. So it's necessarily what I'm looking at is a journey of a people that are taking us from unrealized ideals to a reality. Now, the reality of a successful revolution becomes a nation that accommodates all the citizens by providing opportunities and the possibilities that we're looking for. It doesn't take much for a Kenyan abroad to go back home and just see where we are. I mean, you can go there with all your money and have a good time, but you know the reality, and you cannot be blind to that. No matter what, you cannot be blind to that. Now, if along this journey that has been parked by Gen Z, the drivers entrusted with leadership become rogue or something, then the revolution, it becomes necessary to offload whoever it is. So you also have to look at whoever it is who's driving this bus, and you have to always be conscious of where you're going. Where are we going? There's this notion of a leaderless movement, and that does not mean that it lacks leadership. So a leaderless movement, we may not be able to see who's behind it. We may have a group of people who are going towards a certain destination. But one of the most important things is to also figure out how to create that leadership structure. Beware of the pitfalls of leaderless revolutions, for example, like the Occupy Wall Street. It had its, you can say its gains, because that will make you avoid the mistakes that were made before. The most important thing for me, I think, is to have an unbreakable core. How you create that unbreakable core is for you guys to figure out, and then you tell us what it is that we need from here. Because one thing we might know, we get involved every day with what's going on the ground, but we still have the advantage of having physical safety. And another thing I'd like to say, because this is something that is said a lot by people around me, that these are kids, they're younger than us, they are your kids and nephews and nieces age, they really are going to need help. Now, it's for all of us. This revolution is for all of us because we're all engaged in building a Kenya. Be bold in your ability to actually form a government if that becomes the place to go. Peaceful revolutions, for example, the Velvet Revolution, which I've mentioned before, that were led by a generation as educated and as knowledgeable as you guys have shown to be. These guys formed a government when they least expected to stand in that place. They formed a government using a very peaceful revolution, and matter of fact, they steered that same country into becoming two sovereign states. So, I mean, they did this incredible thing with a peaceful revolution and young people, university students. And to date, those nations stand strong. So you guys can do even greater things. You have to be able to stand in that space and say boldly, yes, we can be able to form the government, the next government, because we have proved we have the intellectual capacity and we know what we want. So we guys, me, my diaspora people here, I'm saying stand by. Let's stand by. Let's be able to give the resources, whatever kind that's needed on the ground. But let's not watch the acceptance by reactionaries of something that we see as recycling the same rot, recycling the same system that has for decades brought us to where we are. Because for crying out loud, we have to at least say no. We know what our relatives are going through. We know this. We know the fees we pay all the time, the hospital bills. I mean, we can be on the phone, you're somewhere far away, but you're on the phone with someone who's running through hospitals, looking for the cheapest hospital to get their kid treated. And I'm not saying this because I'm making it up. I'm saying it because I've been there. So these are not realities that we don't know of. They're realities we share. And we in the diaspora have to be able to say no. We've got to be able to be a part of this revolution in some form, a very effective form. Over to you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Terry, for the very, solid submission there. And so now we move to Josephine. And if any of the speakers is speaking longer than 2 minutes, it's because we have guest speakers also. So don't feel like we're being biased. Josephine, over to you. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ervi and co-host and fellow Kenyans. Both in Kenya and diaspora, I want to say good evening. I'm I thank you also for giving me this opportunity to ask. And my first question, I would want to direct it to Dr. Meguna. And this is my question for you. Do you think it's the ideal time now we push for amendment of our constitution so that we can limit positions of leadership and how leadership is deliberated and given to recycling leaders who have ever been in offices in memory, and you want to die in the positions without letting other people get these positions? Second, do you think that if we do that, it would eradicate the levels of at the levels of corruption? Given that at least somebody knowing that I am in the government for 10 years, that means before I get to that position, my lifestyle have been audited, and any other more monies that I would be having, I should be accountable to the citizens of Kenya, and that will keep away the monopoly of people thinking that they are superior and they own this country at our mandate and they can just take us the way they want. So those are my two questions, and my input to Tuesday's incoming Occupy all the airports. I am all the way from Mombasa, and I believe I will be out there in Mombasa doing the needful, like any other Kenyan, fighting for our rights and ensuring that we meet the standards of what we need, because we are entitled to good governance. We are entitled to quality services and with no corruption. We are entitled to get essential documents within less than an a week, but this is not happening. So that leaves us in dilemma as citizens. You realize that you need an ID, but you cannot get it within the right time unless you bribe. You need a passport, you cannot get it until you bribe. You need a good certificate of good conduct, and all the same. Having said that, I would also find it ideal that also Dr. Meguna, you would advise on what do you think of us getting some few people who will be actually prioritizing our agendas as we move forward. And I believe that we need to have some leaders per se, not leaders per se, but people who can, once we bring the ideas together, we can actually prioritize them and they say, this comes as priority number 1, number 2, and number 3, so that we don't look like we are in a confused mood, not being able to say what are we doing, and we keep on deliberating on what are we doing, what are we supposed to do first. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate if you give me that feedback. Thank you.
Yes, and thanks you so much, Josephine. Just a moment, Hillary. Thanks, Josephine. I wanted to say I think this is the time that Dr. Ray should really just chime in, but before he does, Hillary, over to you.
Yeah, Dr. as you come in, I've seen Jerotich join us. She's one of the speakers that was invited to come and share the idea. Otherwise, thank you so much. Dr. back to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And good afternoon if you are joining us from different time zones. I have been listening keenly to the contributors, and all of them are on point. I will start by expressing my condolences to those who have lost loved ones. And I would want to express my concern that we have as of now, about 300 missing persons, people who have simply vanished or disappeared and whose whereabouts are not known. I had raised a concern a week ago about information I had received concerning hundreds of people who were killed in Githurai and whose bodies have not been traced, and who I understood, yet to be verified, that they were cremated at the Kahao barracks. I still would like to challenge the Kenya National Commission for Human Rights, the Law Society of Kenya, the defenders, various human rights defenders organizations, the media, the DCI, and various government entities, including Ruto himself, to be able to produce a list of all the missing Kenyans since the protest began. We need to have a clear idea as to how many people have actually been abducted, how many people have lost their lives or have been killed, how many people are injured, and how many have simply disappeared. And we would want to assume that those who are missing are probably dead, because a human being does not go missing. These people were active just weeks ago. They engaged in protests, and they cannot simply disappear. Two, I would want to address the issue of the so-called government pathologist Johansen Oduor's declaration that the decapitated and mutilated bodies that were found at the quarry had no evidence of bullets in them. One, I want to note that all the bodies had decomposed and were at different levels of decomposition. All the bodies were mutilated, meaning that there was no body that was intact and had been packed into sacks. It is, I believe, impossible for anyone to imagine that Dr. Oduor would have been able to examine decomposing bodies and trace bullets that had killed them if that is how they had died. It is also impossible for anyone to know whether these bodies had been tortured before the individual succumbed to torture. All of them were killed. All of them were dumped near a police station. We can all reasonably conclude that all of them probably were killed by security forces. And we need answers. We need answers now, and we don't want excuses. It is important for us to note, my third point, that as we speak today, Finance Bill 2024 is the law. It automatically became law on July the 18th, after 21 days had expired from the time that the president or Ruto purportedly rejected it. It has not been repealed by the National Assembly. And we have not had Ruto or anybody or any of the leaders at the National Assembly say that there is an intention to repeal it. Therefore, we have to say all the people Ruto has killed so far will not get justice until all the grievances for which they participated at the protests are addressed. And that starts with Ruto himself. My fifth point is, Ruto has no tenure. He has no security of tenure. Professor Migaya Kech has tenure at the University of Nairobi as a distinguished professor of law, or of the university, because I think he's a distinguished professor. And once you're a distinguished professor, you're a professor of everything. But Ruto has no tenure. The 5 years that Kenyans delegated to him the power to govern, not to rule, was a temporary delegation. It was not a permanent delegation. The delegated power was withdrawn on the 25th of June, and Ruto stands popularly impeached by the people. Therefore, he is legitimately in power, and all the threats he's issuing against the people are an aggravation to the grievances that we had when the people took to the streets and declared that they had withdrawn their delegated power to him. Therefore, Ruto's declaration of war on the people is a declaration of war on all Kenyans, and it's a declaration of war on the Constitution of Kenya, which vests the power to recall him as their delegated leader back to where they want him, home. We want unity of purpose. We want people to realize that no matter our differences, and these differences could be generational, these differences could be ideological, these differences could be intellectual, these differences could be gender, these differences could be tactical or strategic. We have to realize that the only thing that must unite us, and unite us now, is that all Kenyans feel that Ruto has offended them to a point that it cannot be cured. The looting of the country has reached a stage where it having them apprehended, charged, and tried and convicted, and then sentenced, and the properties they have looted, repatriated, is recycling them. We have Chirchir reappointed to a bigger ministry than where he looted before. And remember, this man started looting at the Interim Independent Electoral Commission. He was involved in the Chicken Gate. Then he graduated to the Ministry of Energy. And the former despot Uhuru fired him because of corruption. But Ruto felt, in his lack of wisdom, that this is the man he needed in the same ministry where he had been fired for corruption. And he continued to be corrupt. And he was recently fired for corruption. Then Ruto brings him back. That shows you that Ruto is irredeemable. There is no discussion, no dialogue, or any kind of reprieve or anything that will change this man. He thinks that after he has killed a number of Kenyans and abducted them and disappeared them, that he has scared the Gen Zs and the millennials and the patriotic revolutionaries who have been facing him every week on the street. And the time has come when we should demonstrate to Ruto through action that we are not backing down. How do we do that? My humble submission is that we should have marathon daily demonstrations and protests. And these daily marathon demonstrations should take place all over the country. Whether on Tuesday, some of the patriots will head to JKIA, others must head elsewhere. Because if you all head to JKIA, he will marshal his goons to JKI only. Then we will leave the rest of the country for him to roam about and to threaten us. We have to scatter his goons everywhere. As many people are heading towards JKIA, many people must head to Parliament Square and Arambe House and the CBD and occupy all of it. Occupy everywhere should have meaning. When patriots in Mombasa, in Nyanza, in Western, at the coast, at all and in all counties, gather in large numbers, wear Ruto's goons down until he falls. The last thing I would like to say is in answer to the three, I believe there were 3 or 4 people that asked questions before I conclude. Number 1, Simon Gathoni said, police are not our friends. We also have weapons. We can use them. Maj was right. Yes, police of Kenya have demonstrated, at least the majority of them, that they are not our friends, that they are serving a tyrant and they are harming us. And it is not in our place to fall into the trap of arming ourselves to confront them. Because when you do that, you may have to form an army to fight them. We don't have time. We don't have the resources. We don't have the arms. They will just pick us one at a time, and it will actually serve their interest in the sense that they can now say we are violent, we are chaotic, we are anarchists, and the world and the press will more than happily champion that trumpet. We cannot give them that. We have to remain peaceful. We have to remain organized. We have to remain fearless. And it is through that we are going to wear them down. Just like many other countries have gained and won a revolution peacefully by being unarmed. They did so in France in 1789. They did so in Sweden in 1809. They did so in Norway in 1814. They did so in the Netherlands in 1848. They did so in Austria in 1918. They did so in Turkey or Turkey in 1923. There was a mixture of that and armed struggle in Cuba in 1959. They did so in Portugal in 1974. They did so in Bahrain in 1971. They did so in Spain in 1978. They did so in Philippines in 1986. They did so in South Korea in 1987. They did so in Poland, where it was basically the workers protesting continuously for years in 1988. They did so in the Czech Republic in 1989. They did so in East Germany in 1989. They did so in Romania in 1989. They did so in Indonesia in 1998. They did so in Serbia in the year 2000. They did so in Georgia the year 2003. They did so in Nepal in 2006. They did so in Myanmar with mixed results in 2011 because the military eventually overthrew the revolutionaries. But they succeeded in 2011. They did so in Ukraine in 2014. And they recently did so in the Philippines again. And this history of resistance has always resulted in the country becoming more developed, more prosperous, more industrialized, and the standard of living of the people have always been better from the regime that was replaced. So we can do it too. People were asking me on X, oh, Miguna, all the examples you've given are not in Africa. Kenya is going to be the first African country to do it. We can be the first. Why shouldn't we? All these countries and peoples that I have listed were not born in Pluto. They were not in Jupiter. They were on planet Earth. And so we can do it too. The next question was by Plusman. Memoranda to a president that has been impeached, a president that Kenyans have recalled, is not necessary. No, we are not going to have a memoranda to any president, the illegitimate President Ruto. Our memoranda and memorandum is on the streets of the Republic of Kenya. He knows what the problems are. And of course, he cannot address them because he's a pathological liar. He's a narcissist. He's become a tyrant. Godfather asked about Occupy JKIA, and I believe I've already answered that question. Then he also raised the issue of Uhuru Park. I would discourage all of us from going to Uhuru Park. Why? It is fenced. It is secure. It is a trap. Once you go to Uhuru Park and they surround you, they can butcher people without any restraint. And there is not much impact you will do at Uhuru Park. In fact, they can let you do your thing there for 1 year and it will not affect anybody. The purpose of occupying public spaces is not just to make sure that we speak to Ruto and his thugs in one voice loudly, but to disrupt everything, to disrupt transport, to disrupt business, to disrupt all activities in the country. That's the language he understands. Ruto understands the language of money and business. He understands the language of how he's going to be perceived abroad, the handlers that he has as the IMF. You saw that the IMF already released a statement trying to appear contrite when they have not withdrawn fully their punitive economic programs that Ruto is trying to impose on us. Josephine asked, should we amend the Constitution of Kenya? The answer is no. We should not amend the Constitution of Kenya. We should implement it fully. We cannot amend something that has not been fully implemented. The Constitution of Kenya is the one giving us the right to occupy the streets, to impeach Ruto, to recall him, to say that he has lost legitimacy and he must go. If we pay attention to the alleged call to amend or whatever, we will be being sidetracked, like Raila Odinga, the conman, tried to do with Uhuru Kenyatta in 2022, when they brought us the poisonous chalice, BBI. We should not fall into that trap. We want our constitution implemented in full. Now, she also said, would it eradicate levels of corruption? The constitution would not eradicate anything. As it is right now, the constitution already proclaims itself and provides for a governance that is not corrupt. But of course, it is individuals, human beings, that are not enforcing it, especially Chapter 6, and continue to be corrupt. If you do not punish the corrupt, you will never eliminate corruption. And you cannot punish the corrupt if you have corrupt people in power. So we must remove all of them. Then she talked about priorities, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. No, our priority should remain one. Ruto must go. You see, when you have such a clear, simple, singular priority, nobody will be able to confuse it. You cannot give Ruto demands 1, 2, 3, 4 when you want him to go. You don't expect him to be the one who is making changes. We don't want reforms. We want a complete, total revolution, an overhaul of the entire system. Let me finish, and I'm sorry to have gone on for a while, with what Frederick Douglass said. Frederick Douglass was an African-American writer, preacher, abolitionist, orator, anti-slavery activist. And he said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are men, and he meant also women, who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waters. This struggle may be moral, may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. I drop the mic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ray, for your submission and also for answering all those questions that participants had posed. And now we're going to welcome Jerotich. And
Is anybody hearing me?
yes, we can hear you. We could hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hillary, can you check if
Yeah, Dr. You can you hear me?
okay.
Dr. You can drop and come
Yeah,
back. Okay,
so
fine.
Hillary, please sort him out, but let him know that we heard everything that he said. Yeah, so as we proceed to Jerotich, I would like to encourage us to also... Oh, somebody muted everyone by mistake. I've now unmuted. I was saying, okay.
Marge, did anybody hear me or was I talking to myself?
We had everything.
We had.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think Jerotich just dropped Hillary, if you can check with her. So, but I was about to say that before she proceeds or the next speaker proceeds, we need to also not forget to build the network by following each other, because that's the only way that when we want to share information, we can keep sharing and, getting informed or getting to know what is going on. So, Tom, you're next. 2 minutes each.
Thank you, and I greet all Kenyans in the name of your ancestors. Well, I just want to still ask the general some questions, because in the nature of the conversation that I've seen that he's there, normally he is open to take questions. First, considering his suggestion that we need to implement the constitution without necessarily considering amending it, what suggestion do you have, or how do you think we can be able to meet the 2/3 gender rule, which is a provision in the constitution? And unfortunately, even right now, the parliament did not meet that requirement. In Article 27, Clause 8 and Article 81, Clause B of the Constitution talks about that for both legislative and generally the parliament, so that we meet that. Your suggestion. Number two, I'd like to seek your advice. What advice or lessons can you give the Gen Z leaders who are currently in the forefront of these protests? Another question that I would like to ask is that what is your general vision post success in this revolution? Because I agree with you that indeed we need to win this revolution and we need a total overhaul of the system. Finally, if you may, would you advise, or how can we consider this movement to effectively utilize decentralized organization to maintain momentum and achieve its goals? Because in my opinion, I really would wish us to not necessarily go without a proper organization. I believe we are leaderless, but my perspective, we are leaderful, because most of us who does whatever we are doing, and I believe we do it right most of the time, we are self-motivated. So I believe we are leaderful, but not leaderless. But I suggest we better be more organized. What is your perspective with regards to that decentralized, organized movement? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Let's have Six next, and Dr. Mwakawasi and Professor Migaya Kit, should you want to chime in between, also just feel free to open your mic or raise your hand and I'll see that. Six, please. We're going 2 minutes each. Over to you.
Me as I just came here to tell these innocent Kenyans that it's time to take back this country. As I always say, on Tuesday, we are all marching to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and there are numbers. So as a people, we should come out. We should not sit online and say, let them go to Amuke. Tuende. Personally, I said I've not been in church in 11 years, and today I went to church to confirm if there is any MP who went there or any leader, so that I can condemn them. So guys, on Tuesday, let us turn out in numbers and to take this country back. You had Ruto threatening us on in Bomet. and that is the leader that we have. It's so unfortunate we have such a man as our. I don't like him, and he's not my president as much as I'm concerned. So I'm just here to rally everyone. Let's turn out in numbers, and I said I'll always stay loyal to this cause until the last day, and even if I die, I'm not afraid to die, and I'll be on the forefront on Tuesday. I'm not just coming here to speak, then I don't act. I've been in all the demonstrations since they started, and on Tuesday I'll be on the forefront. And I said there is no money that will buy me as an individual, because I've made enough money to sustain me for the next 10 to 15 years currently. And what I want is a better country where my parents, my children are going to enjoy life. Right now, I have a patient who has cancer but cannot be treated because hospitali za ushago haziwezi mtreat. I have to always bring that patient to Nairobi each and every day because it's only Kenyatta Hospital that can handle this. So what kind of nonsense is that? Yesterday I was informed the governor of Busia, a very close friend to my dad, has employed all his friends from Karen, yet hakuna watu wa Busia wana kazi. And that has to keep happening daily. Okia Omtata, the one we call a saint here, ameandika his close friend as his PA, who is a very corrupt man. And these are things we have to get and learn daily. So I'll say this, whatever Tom said, we will have a plan when we cross that bridge. So let's right now go take back our country. When we reach there, we have a constitution, and Kenya is a democratic country, and we'll find the right footing after we've dealt with this rogue system. Thank you much.
10-6. Can I assume that you listened to what Dr. Harry was saying the whole time? Had you already joined? Because he recommended that the protests be spread, but that people should not go to Uhuru Park because it's like fenced and would. I just want to be sure that you had that.
Yeah, I had, and that's why I say we are occupying Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Okay, I was just confirming. Yeah. Okay.
Uhuru Park is not important. Uhuru Park is just some sort of a park. If you go into a park or you get into a house and a fire starts burning, it will burn you all down. You'll be suffocated. JKIA is in the open. People can find their way and people can occupy. That is where the economy of the country lies. Those in Mombasa are occupying Moi Airport. They are occupying Kenya Ports Authority. In Kisumu, we are occupying this, is it Jomo Kenyatta Airport? In Eldoret, there is an airstrip there. That is what we are doing. We are occupying all this where the economy of the country lies. Tukimaliza hiyo ni CBK.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And please, as you go out there, remain peaceful and be watchful and don't give power to the oppressors where they can come back and say, they were beating us and that's why we had to shoot them. Thanks again for joining. So now we go to Biril. Biril, over to you. Biril cannot hear me. So Kumwanza and then African origin, and Jerotich has just shared that she's settling and then she's going to come back. Kumwanza, then African origin, 2 minutes each.
Thank you much. Thank you, everybody. I'll begin with a question to Dr. Miguna. It's very much evident right now that we cannot depend on the goodwill of the president to resign. The president is not altruistic enough, he's not selfless enough to do that. I think history bears me out on that. In 2007, 2017, 2022, we've seen him, so we cannot rely on his goodwill. But then we are pushing this hashtag and we are all determined to say Ruto must go. I still haven't found somebody who can outline the step-by-step process of removing him from power when he remains obstinate. Because we have ruled out violence and let's say the pressure does not work. What other practical steps can be taken to remove the president from power lawfully? Number two, I listened to the president when he made his remarks today. I will say that when a hyena wants to eat its children, it first gives them a bad name. The president called the participants in the movement anarchists. He earlier called them treasoners. And this should warn us how the establishment intends to crack down on free speech, the freedom to assemble, as well as the right to protest. But I would just urge everybody to not be scared, do not be afraid. We can expect that in the coming days, perhaps the state will use its machinery to pick up bloggers, protesters, and etc., and charge them with various crimes in the Penal Code and possibly in the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. But I would call upon all my colleagues who are lawyers to perhaps take some of these cases pro bono. We must push back against state excesses. That is the duty we owe ourselves and to posterity. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thanks, Komwanza, for being keeping the time. Hilary, do you want to say something before African continues?
No, not really. Jarate, she's already with us. She's
Okay,
coming back.
okay, great. So
Right.
you've had Komwanza mark his title if you need help somewhere. So not title, but handle. If you need a lawyer and you cannot find a lawyer, feel free to inbox him. But please, guys, when inboxing, yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. You went.
You thought somebody had taken me off here. It happens.
All right.
So I was just saying, guys, Komwanza is offering pro bono services as a lawyer, and I believe he's going to also speak to other friends who are lawyers. So do check his profile and inbox him when you need help. But I would also like to emphasize that people inbox with genuine information, because otherwise if you have false information coming on board and people are saying my friend has disappeared but they haven't, it really wastes a lot of time and it discourages those who are helping. African, over to you, and thanks Komwanza for that.
Okay, thank you very much, the panelists and everyone who's here. My condolences to those who lost their lives, and much quick recovery wishes to those who got hurt in the process, in this important process of getting back our country to the right track, because it's long overdue. In my opinion, we haven't done anything ever since we got out of the colonial rule. The country was handed back over to the neo-colonial puppets, the ones who are actually calling the shots in most important organizations, most important posts in the country. And this is what's driving this cause, the anger. It's about this. It's something that has been living in us for a very long time. Okay, I just have like 5 points to put across quickly, and I hope that Daktari Comrade Miguna, long live, will weigh in on some of the points that I'm going to put forward very quickly. They talk about leaders. A lot of people have mentioned about having leaders. In my opinion, we are not yet here. Somebody mentioned about, we'll talk about this when we get there. This actually is creating a sense of confusion. It's creating among us. And the enemy should not see our weakness, should not see the fault lines amongst us. And this talk of leaders at the moment is a good call, yes, but not the right timing. So Miguna spoke about priority. We need to prioritize, and we can utilize like this X spaces to constantly and regularly update ourselves and speak in one voice and kind of have one direction. Because this talk of leaders, we have noticed that we have this enemy is infiltrating it, and they're talking. We have a lot of propaganda coming up, to divide the cause. So we don't have space for division now. We have space, or the only option we have at the moment is focusing on the goal, which is taking back our country. Number two, we have one Makwasi from the diaspora who spoke about resources. I'm also in the diaspora. And maybe also Comrade Miguna will speaker. The issue with resources we are having is about accountability and putting these resources to use. And who are the question we need to ask ourselves, who are the right people to handle these resources? We are very much okay. For me, I've tried to look through whom can I be able to actually mobilize my resources towards and have them utilize it accordingly. We have those young guys who needs utilities here and there to facilitate the whole process. It's not an easy process. It's taking too much of their effort, too much of their energy, and we need some kind of resources to help mobilize and give them a positive attitude towards the cause. So maybe we can discuss on how are we going to mobilize our resources, the resources that we are actually capable. A lot of people are ready, a lot of people are willing, but you get some question marks in the behind the scenes, and you tend to ask yourself, is this actually true or false?
Please try to land so that we can also give other speakers time. Remember, our time limit is 2 minutes, and you said like you have 5 points which you wanted to.
Thank you. I'll just combine the 3 more points to put across. Please allow me. Sorry, my apologies. Remember, this is also a revolution here on Earth. So let's put all our efforts, and I'm very much willing to give each and everyone time to add. Anyway, this cause, if we are not able to mobilize our wherever place you're going to occupy, be it JKIA, be it state house, be it parliament, be it anywhere we are talking about, we have to have numbers. Numbers are very important to mobilize. In fact, if we delay this, it's going to give the enemy power to restructure, to reorganize. It should not take us 1 week before this person steps down. And if we have the numbers, I agree that also we have we need to avoid Uhuru Park, but also we need numbers. We need to have some soldiers over there. We have to occupy every inch of the CBD, every inch of the economy, so that the despotic regime can have the pressure, can feel the pressure. If we just have small patches of people, we are not going to succeed in this. We'll go to JKIA and will not succeed in that if we are lacking numbers. So numbers are very important. And then also the general spoke about the constitution.
Yes, would you kindly land, please? I know it seems unfair.
Yeah, just give me one.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Sorry. Just give me 1 point to finish on the implementation of the constitution. I just wanted to mention quickly, please. Thank you very much. We need to actually have a conversation about cutting down on these unnecessary posts that are leading us to unnecessary spending. They actually told us Kenya is a rich country than any countries that we have here. But the problem is overspending, and our alliance with the IMF and all these organizations that are out to finish African countries. So we need to speak about implementation of the constitution and also cutting down on the salaries and all these unnecessary seats that we have on in our country. So thank you very much. Sorry for wasting your time. Viva.
Viva, no, that was not time wasted. We're just trying to manage the time so that at least more people can get to speak. Thank you so much, African. I would like to, moving forward, just share that, of course, there are many points that we agree with when other speakers have spoken already. But let's avoid repetition so that at least we have, new fresh points coming in. With that, I'd like to give the mic to Hannah Ali, then Kenyan lady. Hannah?
Asante, Emaj, Hillary, Daktari Miguna, everybody who's on the platform, Wakenya wote hamjambo, na watarajia kila naheri popote mlipo. Yangu si mengi, to be honest, much. A lot has been covered, and a lot have been said, lakini yangu ni machache. Kwanza maswali moja nataka pia nimalizie, nimuulize daktari. Mi nishindwa huyu Zakayo alipokuwa anapatiana speech ansema he done everything ambao tumemuuliza. Mbali na hayo hakuna kitu amefanya. Bado ana ile utu wa kuja kusimama mbele ya watu wananchi aseme amefanya hii, ametimiza vovote vile majenzizi na wanakenya ambao wamejitokea nje kwa maandamano amefanya. Sasa ni jambo ipi alitimiza? Haya, bado hiyo anatuambia urongo right in front of our faces. Ya pili kwenye hiyo speech yake alisema ya kuwa wameniambia nije kwenye X nikaja na hawakuweko. And that for me raises a question mark. Alikuwa anatafuta nani? Maanake anasema ankuja kwenye X, lakini wale aliwakujia hakuwapata. Sasa alikuwa anatafuta watu gani? Maanake Wakenya walikuwepo kwa hiyo space, ingawaje mimi sikuenda. So alikuwa anatafuta nani? Hiyo ndio maswali mimi ninashangaa nayo. Ya pili, kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanaendelea ambao si jambo nzuri. Kwenye macheo wanataka kutenganisha Wakenya. Manake kuna toxicity mingi ambayo inaendelea, kama ni kwenye online, kama ni wapi, yani wanatafuta fitna ya kutenganisha Wakenya ambao wameungana mikono, manake wanataka
Dr. Miguna, asanteni sana. So kitu cha kwanza ningetaka to address once and for all is a diaspora influence and diaspora input into the movement. And I want us to conclude on that here and now, because we don't need some of these conversations to be repeated over and over and over in every space. So this is what I want you to do, Madge, if you'd allow me, Madge and Hillary. Our question over the longest time has been, how do we do it? So the first thing that we have done, tumekuwa tukicontribute kwa nini, kwa Hanifa, you know, for all our beloved heroes ambao wametuacha na wale wengine ambao hospitalini na wenye tunatafuta. So we've been focusing that energy there. We need you guys to come up with another mchanga where diaspora can put their contributions there for everything else other than you know, the medical and whatever Hanifa has been doing. I want us to have this conversation for the very, very last time, as far as, you know, diaspora contribution. Please, can we do that? And can we agree to have that mchanga so that we have that focused area? Ndio tuache kuleta, you know, hii mandhari ya nini, ya diaspora. Let's have that as a focus when we come out of here, and then give us the mchanga and let us put our focus on it. The other thing that nataka kuongelea about diaspora is that we know very, very well that they are very, very big and major supporters of like Ruto and the current government in their diaspora, especially in the United States. And what I want to say is boycott. So what has been happening lately, kama kwa mfano, we do know very, very well that the officials of the CBK are here. Na wamekuwa wakicirculate for us who are community organizers. Wametupatia hata flyers, we circulate them around. You know, they are looking for a way that, you know, they can sell us treasury bills and treasury bonds. Like, you know, all these things have been happening under our nose. We need to boycott these things as the diaspora. Our focus right now is to get our country. You remember the time for COVID, we were able to actually run institutions. We were able to, Kenya was able to survive with our remittances, plus other subsidies that were done then. So boycott. There are so many activities that are going that are pro-government right now, and I will call them out one by one whenever I get a chance, but right now it's not the time. I just want to highlight about the CPK governors who have been moving really, really slowly from one state to the other, continue to boycott. I know we have been boycotting kidogo hivi chini bila kuambia wengine, but let's pick up about this stuff. The other thing that I want to mention also, ambayo, you know, it's common for us. Many of us have resources. We have invested at home. We have hospitals. Start treating people. Start using your ambulances to ferry people. Bring them in. Collaborate with us who have already been on the ground from the get-go. Donate ISO ambulances. I mean, come on, you guys, you know yourselves. Na wengine hata mnanisikiza hapa. That's the other way that we can contribute. We have invested over and up in Kenya, and this is the time to rise up and save our country. So, hizo ambulances zenye tumeweka in our hospitals that we run, all those resources, the nurses, the whoever, you know, all those resources, let's bring them up together as we have been doing. You know, today at least I was able to speak on the specifics. And then the other thing that ningetaka Daktari Miguna to respond to, the reason that we have seen the comeback of those corrupt leaders and CSS who have been put back is, number one, for voter suppression, and number two, to continue and murder our Kenyan Gen Zs, Kenyan young people, as they picket, as they do whatever they're doing. So my main concern are those two things. And actually, for the voter registration and suppression of the IEBC, we know why those CSS were brought in there. Even if we are not waiting for 2027, we still need our children to have their IDs. We still need our kids to have the voters' cards. How do we move that forward, given that those people who are nominated back are supposed to suppress onto that length? Because kumbukeni, watoto wetu wanahitaji IDs. You know, watoto wetu wanahitaji voters card. Voters card may...
Can you hear Kenyan lady? I cannot hear her anymore.
No, she disappeared.
I can't hear as well. Kenyan lady, can you hear?
there to say. Thank you so much for the platform, Marge and Hillary and Dr. Miguna and
Yeah,
Kings. Thanks.
go on, Kings. Yes,
Marge,
yeah.
maybe, yeah, maybe I think Rocky Okari has been here for so long, and then Honorable Nyeko, also Professor Obert, I think something like that. They can go, and then Neto, I've seen you, Karibu Sana, Neto Agustin.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe you can go now after those three.
Yeah, just a brief one, just a quick rebuttal. The point that Kenyan lady is bringing out about some people in the diaspora supporting the presidency, especially in the US, those are tenderpreneurs. They don't want to speak up, and they're only waiting for chances to cut deals. So when you're told that the eco levy, for the pads there, they want to really have the local manufacturing where we don't have those companies. It's because they've cut deals out there with the people who want to bring in those to come into set up those companies. But as we wait, are they going to be fast enough? And so yes, we know that there are people who support not just the presidents, but the current administration because of corruption. That's the unfortunate thing. And so if you look even at the past voting results of the diaspora, you know the trend how it went. That's the reason why even the current government and the last government do not want to have diasporans actually vote, because they know that if diasporans would vote and even register, we would be really a force to reckon with. So yes, thanks for being very honest and talking about that. But I must also reassure you that even here in Germany, the tenderpreneurs are always just lying low. They can never speak up. At this point, I would like to have a diasporan who supports UDA or Kenya Kwanza come in and say, guys, I support them because of ABC. No, they will disappear. The only time you will see them is when the president is going to the US. As we speak, there's somebody who's even used their credit card to pay for Kenya Kwanza. He's not been paid, he's crying. But who the hell pays for a government? What were you buying? And actually, at this point, I'm going to tell the government not to pay back that money, because there's something he was buying, honestly. Yeah. And that, yeah, so that is the point. So those who are supporting, and they're even looking away when there's an injustice happening, it's just because they are profiting from the regime. That's the chiming in I wanted to put out there. Kingsman, whom did you cue next? And then I see Jerotich is back. Welcome on board. Kingsman? Yeah.
I think Jerotich can go, because you're told you're given the mic, and then after Jerotich, Rokio, and then Honorable Nyeko, Professor Obert, and then you can give also Neto the mic. Now that you've been
Jerotich, over to you, and welcome to the space.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yeah, we can hear you.
Great stuff. Thank you. Mine, first of all, thank you for this space. It's been great to be doing a lot of listening. This past month, I have listened and learned a lot. And I don't have very much to say, just three quick points that I'd like to make. First of all, in memoriam, all of those 51 plus Kenyans who have died in this cause, we want to remember them. We want to honor their memory. We never want to forget them until justice is served, because this justice delayed is justice denied, and we're not seeing any justice. I want to agree with General Miguna when he says focus must be single-minded. If we straddle multiple agendas and follow conspiracies down various rabbit holes, we will be systematically picked out and picked apart. And this is what we are already seeing. You cannot ask someone, in this particular case, President Ruto, who has refused to implement the Constitution, to behave in a lawful manner. In fact, today when he spoke out in Bomet, when you hear him speak like that, to change public opinion and begin to actually nod in this particular, when our young people are killed, picked out and shot dead. Dada Mkawasi, you said a while ago, not on this particular space, that we need to understand and know our mission, wherein our ideals lie, and thereafter our strategies and our
complaining. Sahi kwa DM yetu, there are hundreds of people wenye wana complain, wanasema mimi nimeapply ID for the last 1 year, imekwama. Na anafaa kufanya, nyinyi mnajua hakuna kitu unaweza fanya bila ID. ID ndio unaanza na, hakuna kitu yote yenye unaweza fanya. There is nothing you can apply bila kukuwa na ID. Hasa kama ID imekwama for 1 year, utafanya kitu gani? Hata kama ni kusemekana basi tujenge nchi, utajenga nchi namna gani na hakuna kazi unaweza fanya ama hata kuapply kazi yote kama hauna ID? A very basic thing. Sisi tulichoose kufocus na hiyo topic ya mambo ya ID sababu ya watu walicomplain sana. Na pia hata we hope labda wakianza kufanya waanze kuprint hizo ID. What I'm encouraging the rest of us Kenyans ni kwamba every state department ya serikali tukuwe tuna criticize. Sisi tukicriticize hivi tukipiga kelele ndio wanakuwa efficient, kwa sababu why are we paying these guys? Tunalipa hii watu watufanyie kazi. Hiyo efficiency ndio tunataka. We are paying these people ndio watufanyie kazi. Si ati tunawalipa tu waende wasubai bure. Hata mimi siwezi taka ati nilipwe nini nisubai tu bure. Kusubai sidhani kuna mtu anafaa alipwe kusubai. We are paying these people for us to work for, for them to work for us. Sisi tunawaitisha ile tu kuwalipa, tunawalipa watufanyie hiyo kazi. That is all we are asking for, and that is why we have decided sisi kama professor we will focus on this. And anyway, we are asking them, why are you not responding? For the last kama 2 or so weeks, people have been complaining. Hata sisi tumekuwa tukiandika hapa, tunataka hata tumetaka mpaka William, because William is their boss. Tumetaka mpaka hao ma PS au wote, all those people, mpaka hiyo huduma nini walikuwa wametublock hiyo handle ya huduma. At some point they had blocked us. I was wondering, how do you block your employer? How do you block a person who has employed you? The citizens of this republic are the people who have put you in those offices. Kama sio sisi tuwaweke kwa hiyo maofisi, hiyo ofisi hata haingekuwa. Hata tukipiga kelele, tupige kelele lakini msitu block, because when you block us tutaongea aje na nyinyi sasa? How are we going to communicate? Yeah. I was actually hoping among our PS na nini wange tuongelesha, they should respond. Huyo Bitok, huyo Julius Bitok mwenyewe, huyo wa PS anasimamia mambo ya immigration na citizen services. Yeye ndo angefaa kuwa ana respond sahi. Atuambie what is the problem, what is the issue, because
kwa nini wanatutesa? Why are they persecuting us? No, ni kama hawaelewi the language of this young generation. Ni kama hawaelewi what this young generation is saying. Edgar, hebu angalia inbox, kuna message nimekutumia. I don't know if the echo is still there. I had so many gadgets here to control the space, but nimezima zote. So I don't know why the PSs are, sisi tunawalipa. Nimeona hapa Dr. Inyangala huyu wa education umeenda umeongeza fees. Sasa nyinyi mnajua tu saa hizi maisha ni ngumu. Watoto wazazi wana struggle. Mtoto anasoma high school, anang'ang'ana anapata hiyo B. Anajua gavaita subsidize. Alafu anaenda campus anaambiwa lipa 120,000. Kwa inbox yangu niko na vijana wengi, wanafunzi who are going to the university, they are unable to pay. As I saw another one from ilikuwa inaitwa this Technical University of Kenya. Ametoka kufanya course na anaambiwa alipe 180,000 per year. So amenitumia kwa inbox nimsaidie kuchanga, because akienda basari atapewa 2,000. And you see the PS mko hapa, most of you mnanisikiza. Hata nimeona Dr. Beatrice, can you tell us what is going on? Kwa nini mnatesa watoto wa Kenya? When these our watoto wanaenda streets, do you people listen to them? I've seen you PS Dr. Beatrice here.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I am under the weather, but you are my bosses, you're our bosses. I'm listening very keenly, and I'm very happy to join you this evening. Before I say anything, I want to speak like a mother. I'm a mother of many, and I'm also a mother of all the university students. I empathize with all comrades and every family, every brother, sister, cousin here who have missing relatives, missing classmates. I feel your pain, the pain of a mother. I feel your desolation. I want to assure you that government is not your enemy. The individuals without regard for the rule of law are the enemy. Your anger is genuine. Let us give state institutions time to bring the perpetrators to book. Education, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of our conditions as men. It is the balancing wheel of the social machinery. Allow me, my bosses, because you're the ones who have employed me, before I answer your questions, to just emphasize that as government, we appreciate the resources that families are investing in the education of our children. We share a common interest in these resources being used optimally so that we can produce quality graduates and also find jobs for our children who complete university education. The government, too, has been investing in education. And as you know, everybody talks about the differentiated unit cost. Please, now that I'm here, allow me, my bosses, to explain to you how this differentiated unit cost used to work. In this differentiated unit cost, every cost of a program was determined scientifically. And so let me use the example of medicine, which is actually the most expensive. Medicine at 612,000 Kenya shillings each year. So when medicine was, it is 612,000 Kenya shillings a year. It has been during the differentiated unit cost, and it is even now. But what happened during the differentiated unit cost when students were paying only 16,000? So they paid 16,000, that is 8,000 semester 1 and 8,000 semester 2. But then universities had other charges, medical, library, identity, and so put together, they were paying an average of 50,000. And I'm sure I have comrades listening here who can say the truth, that they were actually paying an average of 50,000. So that means from around 28,000 to around 70,000. So that is what the university students were paying.
Okay.
Now,
Let's hold on there. You just have to answer these questions directly. The technical jargon can be left to the technocrats. What most of Professor and his team who are struggling to get IDs, who are struggling to be in the university, they have no food, they have nowhere to go, yet they're supposed to be in class. The question is their fees going to be revised downwards?
I'm getting there because I want to clarify that fees has not increased. That is why I'm getting there. So when the students were paying 50,000, government was obliged to pay 80% of the 612,000. But over time, government never paid this 80% of the 612. It was paying from 67%, and by the time we came in, it had gone down to 34%. So what am I saying? I'm saying that nobody was paying this cost to educate our children. And that's why our universities were insolvent. That is why Egerton, for example, was paying lecturers 60% of their salaries. Lecturers were committing suicide. And so we said,
PS, please.
Yes.
Let me get this clear. So the government was not paying lecturers. The lecturers were committing suicide. And therefore, to mitigate lecturers from committing suicide, you increase fees on students. Because that's what you're trying to say.
I have explained that fees has not increased. It is a matter of these fees being shared between government and households. And how does, according to the new framework, how does the government support? Depending on the level of the students who have the greatest level of need, government supports 95%. 70% scholarship, 25% loan, and the student pays only 5%. This is what has not been clear. So if the school fees is 600,000, for example, for medicine, our most vulnerable students will pay only 30,000. 15,000 semester 1, 15,000 semester 2. And I am saying, I'm in Jogo House, 10th floor. If any student who is vulnerable is not paying 5%, come to my office. Let us address your issue.
Thank you.
Because
Hold it
that
there.
is the framework.
Hold it there, Beatrice. Steve, unasikia hii maneno?
Yes, niko on.
Unasikia hii maneno serikali inasema?
Nimesikia hiyo maneno.
Allow me to answer the question.
Just hold on a bit.
Okay, allow me to answer the question. Students who don't have IDs, can they apply for government support? Yes, they can apply. They can apply using their birth certificates. They can apply using the COOPS, Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service has given them a unique identifier, a number. That is enough. Any student who does not have an ID, please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a family, let them apply. And if they have any problem, my office is open. Let them come to me. I will help them.
What is your office?
Jogo House, 10th floor.
10th floor.
Yes.
Room number?
It is at the right corner, at the end of the right corner of the corridor. Nobody can miss it. Yes, I am there to serve you, and I am ready and willing to serve you any day of the day, any time of the day and night.
All right.
That's why I'm
so
here.
if you're a student, I know most of them are in my DM.
Yes.
If you have an issue with your university, paying fees, applying loan, help, and all those, go to Jogo House, floor number 10, and occupy the room at the right corner, and tell her you came to space and you promised this. Why am I being paid? Why am I being told to pay this much? So hold in there, Dr. Beatrice.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, Honorable Steve.
Yes, Eric.
Go on. Jiru, we are also waiting for Jiru to come and we continue. Asante. Edgar, you can take over.
Okay. Yeah, Eric, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm glad to see we are heading somewhere as a country where people can deliberate and look for fundamental solutions to our problems. Now, just to begin with, I'd like to add on the issue of IDs, what Professor was speaking about. And I want to let Kenyans know that this issue of ID, it is not what people perceive. I want Kenyans to understand that Kenya has been chosen as a pilot country in the implementation of what we call the New World Order. The New World Order agenda is an agenda that entails what we call a one world government. And this is not an agenda that was started yesterday. It is an agenda that has been put on set from the year 1946 after the Second World War. Immediately after the Second World War, on the 13th of February in 1946, the UN formulated what we call the UN Charter with one goal. And the entire goal was to break down sovereignties of all countries and build what we call a one world government. During that time, let me just take you through so you understand, and I'll reach the ID so that we understand where we're going as a country, because we seem to look at things at the face value, but without us understanding the root cause of our problems, I don't think we'll find a fundamental solution. So from the 1940s and 50s, this agenda was spearheaded by a group of billionaires called the Bilderberg Group. The Bilderberg Group are the richest families in the world. Name them the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, the House of Lorraine, the Habsburgs, all of them. And towards 1970s, they formulated and rebranded into a group known as the World Economic Forum. That was in 1971. The World Economic Forum is a forum that is spearheaded by a German economist called Klaus Schwab. And this is the mother organization that is spearheading this new world order agenda. And remember, this is the same organization that the group has taken where we are going, where we are, and where our problems began. The World Economic Forum works in subsidiary with the other Bretton Woods institutions such as the IMF and the World Bank. Together with them, spearheading the health agenda is the WHO and the United Nations. So these people had an agenda from the 1940s to build a world with a one government. When I talk of a one government, I'm talking of one military, one president, one currency, one system, judicial system, military system, to build one, where the center of command will be under one leadership. So in this Africa we're talking about, I don't know how we got to this point where now Kenya has become the prototype for all these implementations. And I'm glad when my brother Willis Otieno was speaking, I'm glad he understands that Kenyans, we are being turned into slavery in day broad light. All these shenanigans and things you are seeing, all these policies and implementations that are being brought forward ever since the KK government got into office are all spearheaded and pushed to us by these globalist organizations. Number one, their biggest agenda is to depopulate the whole world. They are very clear in their agenda, and they say for the implementation of the New World Order, the first thing they have to do is to reduce the number of people on Earth from a number of about 8 billion to a maximum of 500 million to 1 billion people. And how do you do that? So their first implementations was things to do with food and agriculture. And that is why you'll notice most of the implementations and policies that are being implemented in this country from Uhuru Kenyatta's time were policies to do with health, food and agriculture, and land. Simply because they understood the only way to control mankind is to control the food. As it is said, he who feeds you controls you. So how are they able to manage, how are they able to control our food supply and our food agricultural practices? It is through policies in these governments that are puppets to these globalist organizations. Today in this country, we know very well that the entire assembly has been held captive by the executive. But at the same time, we have to understand that our entire leadership has also been held captive by these globalists. All these agricultural policies that are being implemented in Kenya are meant to take full control of our food production, food supply, and our entire agricultural practices. In the New World Order agenda, they state clearly that their main objective is to transfer food production and agricultural practices together with assets and land from individuals to the big corporations. In the sense that, as my brother Willis had said, we are being taken back to slavery. The New World Order agenda entails to take control of the entire ownership of properties, assets, and everything else on planet Earth. But the saddest thing is that we are being pushed towards an agenda that many Kenyans are not aware of, many Kenyans are not speaking about. Even our entire leadership, most of them don't know where these globalists are taking us to. So once they control the food, today you know very well that agriculture is under their control, and they managed to do it through policies. And these policies started during Uhuru Kenyatta's time, when Kiunjuri brought forward a document called agricultural certification policy or something he brought about when he was the Minister of Agriculture, where they brought policies to do with seeds, where you cannot share seeds. and they allow these multinational globalist organizations such as DuPont, Cargill, Monsanto, they allow them to come and patent seeds here. Today in this country, it is a crime to even share seeds with your neighbor. Today in this country, it's a crime to use seeds that are not patented. And remember, most of these GMO seeds that were being implemented to plant and to consume are what we call terminator seeds. In the essence that once you use that seed, you cannot replant it in the next season. So what does that mean? It means if you need to plant in your next season, you must go back to them and they'll sell it to you at your price, and they can decide whether to sell it to you or not to sell it to you. So this is slavery.
Let me interrupt you a bit. So wadau kitu Mwesha anasema sisi tumekuwa slaves kwa slave market. Government imekuwa kama slave broker. Au ndio tunapeleka kwa slave market, alafu sisi tunaenda tunauzwa huko. Na kuna 3 things zenye our brokers wanatufanyia. Kitu ya kwanza, wameuza health yetu. Ukitaka kujua wameuza health yetu, uangalie vizuri ni nani amechaguliwa kuwa minister wa health. Ni mtu ametoka WHO. Na nilikuwa naambia mtu jana, kama president angetaka kuemploy ama kupatia cabinet secretary wa health, mbona asingeita KMPDU awambie, cheki, nataka ni work na mtu mwenye mnataka. Hebu angalieni kwa hiyo union yenyu, ni nani manager mpoa mwenye anaweza fanya hiyo kazi. Mnaona? Ama aite governors. Governors wanakuanga na kitu inaitwa governors council. Kwa hiyo governors council kuna health committee. Akae nao waseme, huko kwa makaunti zenu, hebu angalieni ule daktari mwenye ni manager mwenye anafanya kazi poa, mlete ni work na yeye. Because huyo ndiye anaelewa shida zetu kwa county level. So huyo anaweza create synergy between the national government and the county government. Juga mnanipata hapo. So hao wameletewa mtu kutoka WHO akwe hapo kama minister. Unajua inamaanisha nini? Inamaanisha vaccines zitaanza kuja Kenya. Hiyo inamaanisha wewe kama ni mzazi utakuwa unaambiwa mtoto wako kesho atadungwa vaccine ya minyoo. Kesho ingine anaambiwa parent kuna vaccine ya homa ya nguruwe. Watoto wako watadungwa. Kesho watapewa madawa za minyoo. Umeelewa? Na watu hawaoni hiyo. Juzi nimeona madaktari wakicelebrate. Wakisema ametoka WHO. Hamuelewi the global agenda yenye Steve anaongelea. Sijui kama mnampata. He is talking about it. Alafu kuna history ya agriculture. Saa hizi mimi nakumbuka nikigrow up, my grandmother tulikuwa tunapanda mahindi, alafu tukivuna hiyo mahindi anachukua hiyo mahindi hiyo cob anaipeleka huko juu kwa jikoni yake. So wakati anapika hiyo moshi inaiwarm for a whole year. Hiyo mwaka inafuata anachukua hizo seeds anazisoak, alafu asubuhi tunaenda tunapanda. Saa hizi hauwezi. Ukinunua seed leo huwezi panda next year because hizo seeds zimekuwa patented. So tumenyang'anywa kitu inaitwa seed sovereignty. Huwezi panda chakula, ni mtu anakupandia hiyo chakula. Alafu slavery ya 3 ni yenye imetupeleka kwa street. Economic slavery. Sasa sisi tumekuwa kama mbuzi kwa mnada. Ndio maana watu wako kwa street. Tuko kwa street kwa sababu tumekuwa slaves. Ndio tunaongelea sana juu ya economic slavery, lakini mkumbuke kuna health slavery, kuna agriculture slavery. Na kwa hiyo health ukitaka kujua mambo ya depopulation for example, kwa nini wana push hormonal contraceptives kila siku? Yet mwanamke anakuanga fertile only 6 days in a month. 6 days peke yake ama 72 days in a year. Kwa nini adungwe kitu yenye nakaa kwa mwili yake for 5 years? Na watu hawaoni the agenda. Hii global agenda kina Bill Gates na nani, their aim is to kufanya sisi tukue slaves in our own country, in our own nation. Next time mtaambiwa sasa wewe farmer juu haupandi mahindi, kuna ile apartment tumejenga pale free housing, affordable house, wacha tukupeleke huko. Hii shamba cha tukupeleke kama 100,000. Wewe tukupe 100,000, wewe tuachie shamba tutakuwa tunapanda potatoes za kupeleka KFC ng'ambo. Hiyo ndio kitu wanatupangia. Lakini watu hawaoni. Hiyo ndio kitu tunaongelea. Inafaa muamke. Kama COVID-19 haikukufunza kitu, hakuna kitu taikufunza tena. Nyinyi mliona COVID-19 vile mlikuwa tunafungwa kama kondoo, tunafungiwa kwa manyumba. Yet tulisema in Africa hakuna vile COVID-19 itatuaffect. Hakuna. Mkafungwa kwa manyumba, mkaambiwa mvae mask, mlikuwa mnakaa kama kondoo, mnadungwa mashindano huku na huku, hata mjui shindano imetoka wapi, nani ameleta, nani amemanufacture, mnaambiwa tu endeni mdungwe. Na wewe pia unapanga line hapo kama kondoo, unanizushia hapa up, nawaambia wachane na hizo vitu, mnanizushia hapa up. Now see where we are today. Watu wana collapse tu wakianguka chini. Hamuoni kitu kama hiyo? Edgar, uliza maswali zako kwa PS.
Thank you so much, Amerix. So, with all the due respect, Dr. Beatrice, while you are speaking, kulikuwa na watu walikuja DM yangu. These are kids with no IDs. These are kids wenye wako shule, wameapply for this very important document na hawajapewa. So wanauliza hivi, why are you lying? Because how can you say that one can apply for help with a birth certificate? Mtu anaweza fungua bank account na birth certificate. Is it logical? Juu help lazima iende kwa bank. So na kufungua bank account unahitaji KRA pin. So sahi KRA pin unaweza ifungua na birth certificate. Ama ni huku Shinyalu ndio tunadiscriminatiwa? You will answer those questions. Ndegwa Njiru, advocate. You can go.
Yes. Thank you very much. I have listened to the submissions of various individuals and the summary you've given from Steve and the process of the enslavement of the African child. It has left me so much baffled because whatever you are speaking is a reality on the ground. And the most important thing is that the enslavement is both social, political, and economical. If you look at the social enslavement, you realize that they have now started pushing an agenda that is geared towards depopulating the human race, the LGBTQ. I'll not submit much on it. I'll only post it as a challenge for you to ponder and just to prove to you how the enslavement is taking place. When Uhuru Kenyatta decided to do Galana Kulalu, a food basket that would have sorted out greater 20% or 30% of our food insecurity. What happened to the project? The project was frustrated by those people who want to control the food sovereignty. So in real sense, it is calling for our self-introspection. But how does it begin and how did we get ourselves here? We got ourselves here when we elected a government that does looks at self-enrichment as opposed to propagating policies that are enfiat mwananchi, policies that will be able to propagate the human race, policies that are able to respond to our social challenges, political challenges, and economic challenges. We have enslaved ourselves. It is we who elected this government. It is we who shall elect the future government. But we never hold these individuals to account. You have just submitted, Eric, very ably, that if Mr. William Ruto was interested in having a worker as a minister for health, he had very good channels where he would have gotten clear advice. Because he's there.
I think Advocate Njiru is having connection issues. Amerix, can you be able to get him?
I'm unable to get him. I can see him on the speaker's panel. Jiru? Jiru? All right, Steve Mbogo, you can finish your prosecution of the problem and then give us a solution. We do not want to spend so much time on the problems. Let us get the problem, then give us the correct remedy for this, because we need to take action.
Exactly. So I was just explaining to you the issue of control of agriculture. And I'm glad also you seem to, you do understand their next procedure or their next step of, sorry, okay.
I had lost the mic. Some guys were calling. Sorry about that. I was submitting that I was not baffled when I had the PS not able.
We lost you again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe you can sit.
I'm saying I'm not baffled when I hear the peers unable to explain why people are not able to get IDs. The lack of IDs is a political agenda for Mr. William Ruto. He has understood that we are 28 million strong, and that gives him sleepless nights. He's wondering, if I give these guys IDs, what will be my political future? If they're able to go to the streets under Article 35, 37 of the Constitution, what will happen?
I think you have connection issues, Ndegwanjiru. Maybe you are on the road or something. Can you hear him? Edgar?
I think he's lost.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, maybe Steve can, you can mute Ndegwa. He's on the road, I suspect. That's why his network is on and off.
Yes.
Or no, there's some guys who is keeping on calling. Can you hear
Yes,
me
yes,
now?
yes. You can prosecute your issues as quickly as possible.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Anyway, as we wait for him, news just in is that Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. So one down. He has dropped out. These are the people who are really messing our world as we speak. They infiltrate our world with neoliberal agenda, Zionism, and all those things that make us not human beings. We become robots. We eat bad foods. We get bad medicine. We live like robots or something. Steve Mbogo, can you finish your prosecution, please?
Yes. So I was talking about the agricultural and agricultural practices control. So actually, Eric, their main objective is to take full control and transfer agricultural land and practices from individuals to these globalist organizations. And that is why I'm glad you understand the issue of this new affordable housing agenda. It's an agenda that no Kenyan can really explain, because this agenda is not a Kenyan agenda. I'll tell you with confidence that even the plans and the drawings for these projects of the new housing agenda were done by the IMF and these globalist organizations. And their main objective is, most of it is coming under the social panel, where they're saying it's going to be for social activities, to give the houses to the people. But their main objective is to compensate those people who are going to lose their land in the rural and urban areas. Many a times, and Kenyans, this is a time where we have to be listening to what our leaders say. Because if you want to know where leaders are taking you, stay keen and understand the words they are pronouncing time and again. Many a times the president has pronounced that it is time as Kenyans. We have to free up land from rural areas and move to urban areas. And that is why these housing projects are done only within the towns. If really they were supposed to empower or bring up the poor people and embrace the mamamboga and boda boda, as it is said, these are projects that will even be done in rural areas where people have cheap or poor settlements. But the main objective is to take over the land and put people under a project in the New World Order known as the 15-minute cities. The 15-minute cities appear very pretty in the pronouncement, and they say it is a group of leaders all over the countries that are coming together to combat what we call climate change. But the reality is, this is the projection of the future of the world, where they want to put people in a sort of a concentration camp, and people will only be living within these small cities. That's why they name them the 15-minute cities. And the entire land and property will be transferred to these globalist organizations. Eric, if you do your research today in America, actually 44% of single family homes have already been taken over by these globalist organizations. Big companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, StreetGuard, all owned by these cabals I'm talking about. Now, the moment you take these people into these concentration camps, you need to find a way to control them. And that is where they're coming up with the agenda of what you call the digital ID. Let me tell you, Eric, printing an ID ever since you were born in this country, issuance and printing of IDs is one of the easiest jobs a government can do. But you'll agree with me, for the last 2-3 years, this activity has hit a snag, and it has been intentional, simply because they are gearing towards the launching of what we call the digital world ID. The president himself pronounced and said that very soon we will launch digital IDs, and these digital IDs will be free. And he went mute on that agenda. Because what they do, what the globalists do, is they prepare you in their pronouncements. Now, these digital IDs, their main objective is for total control of mankind. And the worst of it all, the digital IDs come handy because of the introduction of the new world currency, which are called the central bank digital currencies. Again, I repeat, the president himself, sometimes back when there was the issue of the dollar, he stood in front of Kenyans and told Kenyans that it is time you have to sell your dollars for those who are hiding dollars, because dollars will be no more. These globalists are planning to crash the entire economical system we use today and bring in what we call central bank digital currencies. And these central bank digital currencies are what will be attached to your digital ID. So for instance, if Eric, you don't follow the rules and orders created by these cabals, your digital currency is switched off. That means you can't transact, you can't buy anything, you can't move from anywhere. Number two, the same digital IDs are what will be used in the election practices. So that means, my friend, you'll be waking up in the morning during election day and you realize and you find that you already voted for the government or whoever will be in charge of those systems. So all these implementations that are happening in Kenya are geared towards this agenda. And we have to understand as Kenyans, if you're not able to address these implementations that are happening in this country, then we are fighting a losing battle. It is until we start addressing and fighting this globalist agenda, that's when we'll find a solution to these problems. I'm glad the way my brother, Senior Counsel Willis, started and said, if you look at all the names that were proposed by the president yesterday for the cabinet secretary's position, a majority of them serve an interest. I want to make you understand that in the economical, health, and agricultural fields in this country, the globalists managed to infiltrate and put their people in there. When you look at the economical pillar of this country, majority and the bosses who are in charge, for example, Kamau Thuge is a gentleman who worked in the IMF for more than 20 years. In fact, he was a director or in charge of debt in developing countries. Someone like Ndungu was also in the board of the IMF and also worked and served in the board of the World Economic Forum. When you look at the former CS, Nakumicha, this year in March, actually, she was appointed to be a member of the board in the World Economic Forum. The new lady Baraza, who was nominated yesterday by the president, has also been a member and has worked with the WHO. So these are people who are being put strategically to implement policies for the globalist agenda and not for the Kenyan agenda. So it is until we address these issues on a nutshell and speak as it is, then my brothers and sisters, we are fighting a losing battle. So it is time Kenyans have to wake up. It is time Kenyans have to look, flip the coin, look at the other side of the coin and also the sides of the coin. Because we are dealing with a government that has really become a puppet of these globalists, and their main intention is to dig us deeper into this hole of debt, hole of depopulation, the hole of slavery. And if we don't watch out, the implementations are being spearheaded at an alarming speed. When you talk of vaccinations today, I have been complaining online that many counties, I happen to come across letters from about 4 or 5 counties from Mount Kenya, where school kids are being vaccinated involuntarily. Today, in the World Health Organization report, even their scientists are coming out clean, claiming that most of these vaccines are harming these children. You and I know very well after the COVID vaccination, most of us who are vaccinated, a lot of people have developed very, very serious illnesses, from myocarditis to blood clots to immunology disorder to infertility disorder. But look at what has been happening. Ever since Nakumicha joined the World Economic Forum in March, she has been spearheading a vaccination agenda across the country for the last 6 months. Every weekend, she's out there to speak about vaccination. In India, some years back, about 24,000 girls were vaccinated with the HPV vaccine. And these kids became so ill to an extent that the government chased the Bill Gates Foundation from India. Now remember, these big NGOs and these foundations from these globalists are the people who are in charge of this country today. If you look at even the recent rejected finance bill, they had proposed to remove taxes and levies on NGOs, simply because the biggest NGOs of the cabals have put foot in our country. So, Eric, as I conclude, I want people to understand that this issue, which is the bone of contention, you're talking about the ID issue, it is not a matter of government systems failing to print IDs. No. These are conditions that have been given to them, and they're delaying the process as they wait to launch what we call the digital ID, which will be conjoined with what we call the central bank digital currencies.
Oh, all right. You, yeah,
Yes.
is it serious? I also saw you saying something about our minerals, and there's been a very number of spaces here talking about minerals, and I am shocked to learn that Kenya has minerals. Kenya has gold.
Yes, my brother.
I am shocked that this thing they call diatomite. Somewhere here in Kiriandusi, that there are other minerals there that are very, and I was just in Magadi.
I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on First Post.